All right, hello everyone. How are we doing? Um, Fortunately, nothing has happened since the last stream. My balls are still fine. I don't have any legendary illnesses. They're not going to kill anyone. At least not in the disease sense. So, let's make sure we got sound. Sounds like we got sound. Hello everyone. So yeah, we're not gonna hang around for too long. We are just going to get into it in about 5 minutes. Let people trickle in, and then we're gonna finish this god awful thing. Welcome to chapter 13. It's all downhill from here. No, you're actually right because word of warning for all of you here. Chapter 13 starts off really strong, if you know what I mean. It's the one where Shadow the Hedgehog has relations with his car. And the car talks, apparently. So, already got a drink to that. What's this? Why? What's this YouTube link? Let me look at that. What is this, like a parody channel or something? Yeah, absolutely no sarcasm at all. Okay. Alright. Well, what am I drinking? Well, as always, it is bourbon. Got bourbon in here, and also got some flavored water on the side for when I want to chase it down with some strawberry. So there's that. Who up scratching their balls? Much love from Brazil. Oh, if only you knew, Pedro. Thank you for the two. Unfortunately, I still don't know what that currency is, so someone please tell me in the chat. I am stupid when it comes to that stuff, so I appreciate it, though. Thank you very much. I don't know if it matters if I miss chapters because of how crazy and disorienting it is with or without context. All you need to know, really, is that Knuckles is now a baby. That's all you need to know. Because he was reborn through Rouge's ass. That's all you need to know. Everything else after this, you can just pretend like it's, you're just joining in. You didn't miss anything, I promise you that. We're not reading yet. We're going to give it about 2 minutes for people to trickle in, and then we're going to start reading. Hey, Nick looks just as dead inside as the last stream. Yeah, that's just my face, unfortunately. So... it's not really an act when I have that, like, straight-faced, deadpan voice on stream when I'm filming. So what you're seeing is basically this story has Hollywood tweaking right now. True. Hollywood could never. Hollywood could never. Let's be real. Need a hard drink for this one? Way ahead of you. Don't worry, I get called depressed because of my resting face. Relatable. Relatable. Is it possible to prepare for the fanfic even, or is it literally impossible to brace? It is impossible to brace. We're just going to dive straight into it. I mean, I got bourbon, so... Sonic High School movie when? Well, there's a lot of, are there drinks hard enough for this? Oh, shit, what's that, oh, fuck, what's that called? There's some drink that originates from Chicago that, it's supposed to be awful, apparently. I forgot what it was called. I think it starts with like a S or something like that, but it's supposed to be like one of the worst drinks ever. So I should drink the Quan Mills drink. You mean the Hennessy? I wish I could. I ran out of Hennessy, unfortunately. So okay, okay, there we go. Okay, Malort. Yes, Jepson's Malort. Thank you, Crouton the Bear. That's what it is. It did not start with an S. It started with a J. Jepson's Malort. Yeah, I tried that once. It was like drinking hand sanitizer, but warm, which is awful. Okay, so like I said before, we're just going to get right into it because fuck you guys. No, I'm kidding. We're just going to start with Chapter 13, the chapter that, warning, contains hedgehog on robot car action. Okay, we're not ready enough for this. Here we go. Chapter 13, Picking Up Silver. A cool car raced through the city streets. Brrr, said the car as it went down the big street with lots of other cars on it. The city was filled of buildings with lights and other things, like places like McDonald's. Comma, shouted the car as it went back and forth, going in between other cars so it did not have to wait in traffic. The car was playing techno and rock and roll music, because Shadow is such a hard ass. Techno is short for technology. Reek! Yelled the car, doing a big turn in the city intersection. Location update on the Ultra Chaos Emerald, said the driver of the car. The car screen blinked to different things and then, in a robot voice, said, "Beep, beep, Ultra Chaos Emerald getting closer." Shadow looked at the map screen and drove faster towards the red dot that was where the last Ultra Chaos Emerald was. Beep, 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 said the car in a robot voice as Shadow got closer to the dot while driving his car. It was just around the corner now. Shadow did another fast turn at this into section and right to where the red dot on the map was. Beep, 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 screamed the car in a robot voice as this car dot and the Ultra Chaos Emerald dot on the map moved into each other, and in the real world, Shadow pulled up to the curb and there was a couple of gangmen. "Thanks, Omega," said Shadow as he hopped out of the car, which was black and red, and onto the dark city street. He looked at the... Oh god, I forgot about this part. Okay, I gotta do the disclaimer again. Okay, so I'm saying this story as it is because to say it any other way, as in self-censoring, is a massive disservice. Okay? So, this is not an endorsement. This is just me reading the fucking story. Okay. He looked at the... Jesus fucking Christ. No way. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll get over it. I'm sorry. He looked at the blacks standing there. Oh, for God's sake, why? And they looked dangerous. Jesus Christ. Oh, please don't cancel me over this. I'm sorry. But Shadow knew they had the Ultra Chaos Emerald. Shadow took out a gun and pointed them and said, "Give me the last Ultra Chaos Emerald!" And they looked surprised and startled. They checked their pockets, and while they were doing that, the gun became used, and Shadow shot all three of them. They were now dead. Shadow reached into the middle one's pocket and found what he had come for, the last Ultra Chaos Emerald. They were like the regular Chaos Emeralds, but more powerful and a secret until they were found out. Shadow hopped back into his car, Omega the robot car, and said, "I got it. Now I can get one wish to come true. I am going to think about what I will use it on before I use it." Shadow looked at the map and said, "Get me directions to Hamburger Restaurant." Omega changed some screens and said in a robot voice, "Beep, beep, beep, boop, bop. Hamburger Restaurant location found. It is over here." And Shadow looked at where the dot was. It was right nearby, so Shadow drove there with more loud sounds. Jesus. Shadow went to the drive-thru and got a hamburger and fries and sat in the parking lot in Omega and ate it. "This is great. I love this place. It is always a place that I love to come to after I finish a crime," said Shadow darkly. Omega did not need food because he was a robot shaped into a car. Shadow finished eating and threw the garbage into Omega's trash hole, where he turned litter into gasoline, which was useful. That is pretty useful. Then Shadow took his penis out. That is not useful. Nope. That is not useful. "Hey, Omega, check this out," said Shadow, laughing as he took his big, meat, hard penis and stuck it in Omega's trash hole. Unrecognized item in trash hole. Error, said Omega. "That's my penis, man," said Shadow to Omega. Penis, not trash, not allowed in trash hole, said Omega to Shadow. Shadow couldn't fit all of his big, strong penis into Omega's trash hole anyway, so he took it out and gave Omega a taste of his balls, too. Omega did not recognize Shadow's balls as trash either, which was good. And then Shadow put his balls back and started to drive off with his hands still on his penis. "Where is Silver's house?" said Shadow to Omega while he rubbed really quick and hard on his penis with one hand while his other hand was driving. Omega updated his map and showed where Silver's house was on the other side of the Dark City. Shadow kept empowering his penis with one hand, and he drove faster and more dangerously. Soon his penis was so big he could hardly see in front of him anymore, and he was zigzagging across the street, trying to keep both his penis and his car in control. Then he put both hands of his on his penis and made it do all sorts of things until he was done, and his penis redecorated the inside of Omega with white curtains. "Just so you know, that's my semen," said Shadow to Omega. Omega knew that already. Shadow put both of his hands back on the steering wheel and drove faster, but suddenly some loud sounds and flashing lights came up behind him. "Whack, whack, whack. The police is following you," said Omega. Shadow decided to follow the laws and stopped his car on the street and waited for the police to come over to him. Shadow's penis was still big, though, so he tucked it under his leg on the He tucked it under his leg on the right and stuck it up in the middle of Omega the car, and Shadow put his hand on it. The police came over to the front window of Omega and looked at Shadow inside. "Cool vehicle," said the police. "Thanks," said Shadow to the police back. "Okay, do you know that you were breaking a law by going that fast and back and forth on the street?" said the police to Shadow, sounding more like Mrs. Lesson than a real person. "Yeah, I do," said Shadow, and he patted his hand on his penis in the middle of the front of the car. "Sir, please take your hand off the gear stick in the middle of the car right now," said the police to Shadow. Shadow looked at the police and laughed and said, "That is not the gear stick. That is my penis," and drove off before the police could say anything or even react at all. You have broken another law," said Omega to Shadow. Shadow laughed because he could see the police far behind him giving up and going to look for an easier criminal. "Now," said Shadow, "let's get to Silver's house." Shadow drove the car fast to Silver's house on the other side of the city, and when he got there, he braked the car so hard that the sound it made was like hearing the world's largest bird getting punched in his tummy. Shadow honked the horn, and when he finished honking the horn, Silver jumped out of the window and onto the street and into the side seat of Omega. "Hey, Shadow, thanks for the ride," said Silver. "Cool curtains you put up." Shadow laughed and said, "No problem. Now, if I do not hurry up by driving fast, you will be late for the play." Silver said, "Do not worry, we will get there in time." Silver was another big role in the play, but he was not a huge gay like Charmy Bee. Silver was kind of fast, was kind of like Sonic, but less fast. Sonic also had the best morals, but maybe Silver dressed better, but that was kind of gay too. Silver did have this big hair thing on the front that looked like a marijuana, though. So maybe Sonic was better at being stylish anyway. It is hard to tell because Silver lived in the city, which was kind of far away from Sonic High School. Shadow stepped on the gases, and the car went away through the city into the moonlight and towards out of the city to high school. God damn. Okay. Admittedly, that wasn't as bad as it could have been. Like, it was short by comparison to the other scenes we've read so far. Quills, they're his quills. Yeah. Well, apparently Silver the Hedgehog's quills look like marijuana, so there's that. Do you remember that one thing from My Strange Addiction where that guy was in love with his Chevy Monte Carlo? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So with that, let's move on to the next chapter. Chapter 14, The Play. Sonic and Amy got to high school and went to the play, which was at the school. When they got to the auditorium, they were not expecting to be surprised, but they were, because the auditorium was actually full of men and women idiots wanting to see the play. Cool young people such as high school students did not come to see the play unless they had to. The place was so full that Sonic and Amy had to sit in bad seats surrounded by strangers that could have been dirty or usually did crime. Sonic looked around the place and saw Rouge and Knuckles Jr., who was a baby, sitting really by the door out, and Tails and Cream all the way on the other side, which is where they probably would have sat anyway because Tails hated Sonic to the sky. Sonic also saw Shadow standing around places, but he did not get a seat because he was too bad for that. "We're at the play now," said Amy to Sonic, even though she was surrounded by people who were neither of them. "I wonder when it will begin." "It's going to start soon," said Sonic back to Amy. "What I am wondering is not that, but it is if Charmy is going to mess up big time because he's been acting weird all week. I bet you he will." Sonic laughed about this because it did not really matter to him, but it did to Charmy. The play they were doing was The Christmas Story, even though it was not Christmas time, but they thought it was a good idea to do anyway. In the play, Silver played Joseph, who was Jesus' dad. Charmy played Mary because even though he was not a girl, everyone thought he was anyway. Baby version Jesus is going to be played by Knuckles, who was fitted for the role now that he was a baby. Sonic and Amy sat patiently in the seats they were in, even though Sonic could have been out running around. Sonic waited by rubbing Amy's leg and seeing how close he could get his hand to her vagina before she rubbed him off. Sonic determined that Amy was prime and ready for sex because her vagina felt hard and loose, and as far as he could tell, when he would get close to it with his hand before the play began, he almost totally forgot that he had a deadly ball disease. The play eventually started, and it was just as gay as you thought it would be. There was singing and songs, but otherwise it was just like The Christmas Story always was. Mary got a letter from an angel saying she was going to have a baby, but she did not want to have the baby at home because the king would not let babies vote. So Mary and Joseph rode bikes all the way from London to Jerusalem. London? Okay. When they got to there, the hospital was full, so they went to a barn and had the baby in there, and it turned out to be the legendary hero Jesus. Oh, the Christian fandom is just in a roar right now that they get proper representation of their legendary hero, Jesus. Through the whole play, Silver did a really good job, and Charmy did an okay job, but everyone sure believed he was a woman because his voice was so high and girls. Then they got to the ending where, what do we got here? Crocodilius, 1123. My God surely is a trickster to give me the gift of comprehending the world, only to have me born in the same age as this abomination. True. Thank you very much for the donation, Crocodilius. Then they got to the ending where Mary was to have her baby out. Mary flipped onto her front, and Joseph pulled Jesus out of her butt, which looked totally fake. Sonic couldn't tell, even with special affects. Joseph held Jesus up to show God and then gave him to Mary, who was actually Charmy. Charmy looked at Jesus, Knuckles, really close, and then reached into his clothing with the hand that was not holding him and pulled out a knife. "Time to get murdered," said Charmy as he started to kill Knuckles. Just as he began to do this, Silver bodily flew into them and knocked Knuckles up and away from Charmy. "Oh my god, what is happening?" said Amy, who was startled hard. "Charmy is trying to kill Knuckles, obviously," said Sonic to Amy. It was true, and people started to yelling and screaming. Just then, a gunshot came from the back of the audience. Biblically accurate Sonic to Hedgehog. Yes, I was to Hedgehog. Very true. Thank you for the donation. Shadow pulled out his gun from his spot and aimed it at Charmy B from the back of the audience. Shadow fired his gun and the bullet hit his head, but he must have been wearing a gun-proof helmet because the bullet from the gun went off his head and up into the ceiling where it hit a light and the light fell down with other things. Something from the ceiling fell into the back of the stage where the props were, and one of the props was a bomb they used for some things. The prop was a real bomb, though, and when the thing hit it, the bomb exploded. The bomb exploded with a huge explosion, like a bunch of horses made of fire running through the place. Suddenly, people did not really care anymore about the play because the place was full of fire and could kill you. Rouge and Knuckles Jr. already got quick right away because they were by the door. Sonic looked and saw Amy next to him. He was almost unconscious because of all the fire and smoke and shocking things. Sonic picked her up and ran out of the auditorium with his fast speed. Sonic found Rouge and Knuckles Jr. outside in the hallway where it was safe. Are you okay?" said Rouge. "Knuckles Jr. predicted that this would happen, so he sat by the door so he can get out easy." "Yes, we are okay," said Sonic. "Amy here is going into a shock attack, but it is nothing she will not get over." Sonic looked around and saw people running out, but there was a lot of other people still stuck in the auditorium, and some of them were fainted. People were leaving and not helping the other people get out, but the lunch lady, who had ears but was still deaf, was running into the auditorium and carrying women and children back out. The lunch lady lived in Mongolia by herself as a child and became very strong from carrying trees back from the frozen forest to the village that she traveled between, so now she could carry stacks of people. Best backstory ever. Holy fuck. The prop was a real bomb. I'm sure OSHA would have something to say about that. True. I don't think this author even knows what OSHA is. Thanks for the donation, Icy Flower Gamer. Since she was deaf, all of the noises that the fire was making did not bother her because she could not hear. Sonic saw the lunch lady bring out cream, but Tails was not being brought out because he was not a woman or a child. Sonic thought, "Damn, he is still my friend." Sonic swallowed his scary feelings and ran into the burning auditorium to Tails, who was passed out in the front. Sonic picked Tails up and ran and brought his body outside to the hallway and began doing CPR on his body. Sonic thought, "This will look gay," but it did not matter because Tails was still his friend. Sonic pushed on his body and started kissing him to give him life again. Sonic kept kissing, and Amy and Rouge and Knuckles Jr. watched as he kissed Tails' face, but Tails was not waking up. "Sonic," said Shadow over on the side, "Charmy escaped and is running through the school like a murderer now. Stop CPR kissing Tails. You have to help us catch him." Then Silver gave Knuckles to Rouge and said, "He is safe now, but he needs to sleep." Rouge was so happy she could have kissed him, but did not. Sonic looked and said, "Amy, finish doing CPR on Tails. I will let you and will not get jealous." Sonic kissed her mouth and felt one of her boobs, and ran off with Shadow and Silver to go catch the guy who was trying to kill baby Knuckles that was now running around the school and could danger them all. Very action-packed chapter, admittedly. Very action-packed. The best one so far. The bomb exploded with a huge explosion. Holy fuck. Whatever. Chapter 15. Killer on the Loose. Loose. Author's note. I wrote this chapter on a train! I like trains. I wish that would have happened to him. Let's be real. Shadow and Silver ran ahead into the school, but Sonic stopped to go to the bathroom, and he took an enormous, bad-smelling poop. Sonic knew he must be very emotional, because this poop was so big that when he tried to flush the toilet, the big poop log just folded in half and clogged the toilet easily while looking like part of a really fat pretzel that you would get at the mall, not like the little ones in bags from the supermarket. Sonic just said, "Forget it," and ran out of the now very stinky bathroom and after Charmy Bee. Sonic passed Shadow and Silver, who were in different hallways and going different ways, but he did not pass them at the same time because they were in different hallways, and because even though Sonic was very fast, he could not actually be in two different places at the same time. Sonic went one way, and Shadow went the other way, and Silver went another other way, and it kept happening. One room that Sonic looked in was the art room. It made Sonic remember having art class with Charmy Bee. Charmy could not control his gay urges like everyone else, and used all the colors in every picture, where like Sonic just used blue and Amy just used pink, and other people were also normal like that. Sonic thought about how this was, and that it was still surprising that Charmy could do something like this. Shadow went into a room among other rooms that was the car fixing room. Shadow remembered how he had car fixing class with Charmy and how Charmy was really terrible at fixing cars because it was not in him to do something that was like a man would do. Oh god. Shadow thought it was weird how Charmy could now do something that was so manly, like killing. This author has such a firm grasp on the gender politics of the time, I swear to God. We got 62 people in the chat right now. Holy fuck. Good job, everyone. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. Sonic and Shadow and Silver ran around and around, and eventually they just got tired and could not find Charmy at all. Charmy was trying to be a murderer, but they were just tired of looking for him, so they sat down in chairs and didn't do anything else now. Back in the front of the school, Amy decided that she needed to go to the bathroom. Rouge went with her because she had to go too, and Cream stayed with Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. and Tails, who was still trying to become awake. Most people had left the school by now, but there were still some waiting to get into the women's bathroom, but Amy and Rouge did not feel like waiting in line, so they just went to the men's bathroom, where normally it was that the people inside were men. Wow. Amy and Rouge were not men, so this was against the rules. As soon as Amy opened the door, a super-powered smell hit her in the face. It punched her right in the nose because it was Sonic's poop smell. "Oh my god!" screamed Rouge. "What is that smell?" I have heard this smell a million times before," said Amy to Rouge, who could say this because she was Sonic's girlfriend, meaning that she has been around Sonic pooping. "This smell is Sonic's poop." Amy and Rouge went to the bathroom anyway because you can never get a break when it comes to going to the bathroom. No matter what, you always end up going even when you try not to all night. They were holding their hands above their noses, and then Amy opened up a stall door, and inside was a shocking thing to see, but she saw it anyway. It was Charmy Bee. "Ah, it's you!" screamed Amy in a scared and shocked way. "You're a murderer!" "Not yet," said Charmy, "but I will start to be by killing you!" Charmy jumped at her from inside the stall and into Amy, and they fell back, and Charmy was on top and holding a knife was about to cut Amy apart when Rouge came over and kicked Charmy, and he flew off her body and over the wall by rolling. "Take this!" said Rouge, and she flapped her bat wings at Charmy to push all the horrible poop air at him. It all went to him. But then Charmy got up and ran right at Amy with his knife and cut her on the legs because he is short, and then jumped back. "Ow!" said Amy. "I'm dying." Amy fell backwards and got dizzy. "No, stay with me," said Rouge. "Use your special move while you can." Amy knew what Rouge was talking about, so Amy used her special attack. Okay, so this is one part I admittedly got wrong in the review. You know, reading through this, I don't know, I guess I missed the part when Charmy cut Amy's leg with a knife. I just thought that when Amy opened her legs and shouted girl blood, that meant period blood. So, mea culpa, you know. Surprisingly, I am not perfect. I know that, you know, all you think that I am Jesus, but, you know, Jesus stumbled, I guess. So, my apologies to Dark Doom Firemaster for getting that crucial detail wrong. Anyway, Amy shouted, "Girl blood!" and opened her legs, and a stream of blood shot at Charmy. Since Amy was so good at being nice and caring, which is using your heart, Amy was able to speed up her heart so fast that her blood pumped out of the wound on her legs like a super soaker filled up by vampires. The blood hit Charmy in the face and body and all over really, and it was steaming and burning him, but he looked like he didn't care. Amy looked shocked and yelled, "How can you be so invincible?" Then Rouge said, "I bet he can't handle my special attack. Romance bite!" Rouge flew with her bat wings, ran over to Charmy, and bit him right in the neck using her fangs and tried to make him fall in love with her. But it did not work. "It is not working," cried Amy. "He must have superpowers. He's going to kill us for sure." Amy and Rouge tried to get away from Charmy, but he kept blocking them and coming at them with the knife. They were finally trapped in the corner, holding on to each other with their best-in-show boobs pressing up against each other and looking like the sexiest Legos ever. Okay. What I'm disturbed of is, you know, the fact that he used plural Legos. Isn't it just Lego? Like, isn't the plural of Lego just Lego? Like deer? You don't say deers. You say deer. Someone correct me. Nick, your Rouge voice sounds like an elderly woman. I honestly forgot what I did for my Rouge voice last time, so I'm just trying to do a really hasty Aurora Cress impression. It's really not good. Okay. Then all of a sudden, Tails came into the bathroom and threw a piece of electronics at Charmy. Charmy looked up at Tails and said, "But you are supposed to be and then died right there." Tails went over to Amy and Rouge and definitely stopped for a second to check out their boobs without them knowing, for fuck's sake. But then stopped and said, You are safe now. That was not Charmy. It was a robot." "A robot? How did you know?" said Amy. Tails, being the smartest, thought it was a question for idiots, but said, "You should blah, 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 blah. You should read The Riverman by Aaron Starmer if you need a genuinely good book after the psychological agony. Genuinely fascinating on some surprising levels." Well, thank you for the donation, and thanks for the suggestion. Yeah, you know, like, I have very little time to read good books these days. I'm still trying to get through Blood Meridian because that is such a challenging book, and obviously I got to read bad, weird books for the channel, so, you know, I'll always appreciate the suggestions, so thank you. I knew as soon as Charmy was not being hurt by Sonic's poop stink. I was watching from the door. Normally, Charmy would have complained and passed out from smelling that, but he did not. So I knew. As soon as that happened, I ran and went and got a robot killer device for my electronics. "Wow, thanks," said Amy, and kissed Tails on the cheek for a reward. Really, Tails, you saved us, said Rouge, and kissed Tails on the other cheek. This shows you can be cool by being smart, except if you are a nerd ass. Oh my god. Tails and Amy and Rouge walked out of the bathroom and back to where Cream and Knuckles Jr. was, and soon Sonic and Shadow and Silver came back, and they were all back together. The lunch lady was the only person still there, and she saw how tired they looked, so she made them all a bunch of... What is that? Ko? What? Chao meat sandwiches, and they all ate until their tummies were gonna burst. All the time while they were eating, though, Sonic thought, but then where is Charmy? And where is the guy who made the robot? And so many other things. High school drama is just so crazy to be a part of. Do you think Sonic's poo is blue and has lightning? It probably doesn't. It probably smells worse than that. Chow is pronounced chow. Is that what he meant? Chow? That's what he... Ugh. I'm so sorry. I was thinking Sonic brain, so I thought he was trying to say like chaos meat or something like that. Quick question for you, Nick. What is the hardest book that you had to get through due to how bad it is? That will be revealed in the next review. Because I'm getting through a book right now that is so freaking hard right now. It is awful. It is actually awful. So, yeah. You'll find out eventually, in time. Oh god, wait, is this the Lunch Lady chapter? No, it's not, thank god. Okay. Chapter 16, Responsibilities. It was now a new day of school and Sonic went to it. Sonic took a peek out at the auditorium where the bomb had gone off last night, and it looked like they were fixing it, so that was good. Sonic went to his first class and his second class, and all the classes after that until lunch, which is what he was at now. Sonic went to his lunch table and was about to say, "Hey guys," but then he looked at his normal lunch table and he thought, what has happened? Tails was not here because he has been mad at Sonic. Knuckles was not here because he was now a baby and with Rouge. Espio was not here because he was at the hospital after fighting with Knuckles before he became a baby. And Charmy was not here because he was still in a disappearing mystery. The only people that were there were Shadow and Vector. "Hey guys," said Sonic. "What is going on with high school?" I hate this chapter with a burning passion. I hate this fanfic with a burning passion. Seriously. Thanks for the donation. "It sure is crazy," laughed Vector while he ate his yellow sandwich. "Has anything new happened today?" said Sonic to them. "Didn't you hear?" said Shadow. "Espio is back out from the hospital. He would be here at lunch right now, but he is getting all of his work from his teachers." "That reminds me," said Vector. "Also, Knuckles is having trouble with grades. Now that he has become a baby, he has not turned in any of his homework or tests, and he is going to fail high school and get kicked out if he doesn't do them." "Wow, that's tough," said Sonic. And then all of a sudden, the announcement speaker came on. "Attention, teenagers," said the announcement speaker. Oh god. Amy and Rouge have Oh god. Amy and Rouge have denation for going in the boys' room last night after the play. Please go there immediately. "Oh no," said Sonic so immediately. "Looks like they're gonna be in there for a long time," said Shadow. "There is no way I can become true boyfriend and girlfriend with Amy if she is trapped in dentation by having sex," said Sonic. Sonic was so upset now. Then the announcement speaker came on again. "Attention, teenagers. Sonic, please come to the office," said the speaker. "Uh-oh, looks like you're in trouble too," said Vector. Vector was always making people mad. He was definitely an asshole to be around. Sonic got embarrassed like when Miss Lesson read about his balls problem, And he ran out of the lunchroom and through the halls with his head down, not looking or talking to anyone, and went down to the office. "Hello," said Sonic to the office. "What do you want?" "Here, this is for you," said the school worker, who had long hair and a star tattoo with an outline on her face. "Rouge left it for you before going into detention." Sonic went over to the desk she was at and looking at and pointing to, and found what she was talking about, which was Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. with a note attached to them that said, "Please take care of us while Rouge and Espio are not around." Sonic was so surprised. He had never taken care of a baby before, forget two, especially when one of them was his friend after becoming a baby. "Thanks for coming so quickly," said Knuckles Jr. "I was getting hungry." Knuckles Jr. was red. "Thanks." Sonic picked up Knuckles and Knuckles Jr., put them in his backpack, and went to the rest of his classes, and then went home. Sonic got home and opened his backpack and took Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. out and put them on his bed. "Welcome to my room," said Sonic. "Don't check out the pornos on my desk if you don't want to see them," said Sonic. "You both are only babies." Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. laughed and ate food that Sonic brought up for them after they laughed. "Hey, Wait, I'm sorry. It was Knuckles I made sound like Patrick. I made Vector sound like I don't know. So Knuckles is Patrick. My mistake. Vector is someone else. I gotta remember Vector's voice.
"Hey, Sonic,"
said Knuckles.
"you gotta help me out with my homework. It is very hard to write as a baby."
So then Sonic helped Knuckles learn to write, and he finished doing his homework as a baby. Knuckles probably did a lot of things wrong, but Sonic did not care, because homework was boring. Then Sonic went out to mow the lawn, which made his balls itch extra, and then he went back upstairs, but stopped on the stairs to put soothing... What? Hold on, what is this? Poultice. Put some soothing poultices on his balls. I've never heard that word in my life before. You learn new things with fanfics like these. "So, what do you guys do for fun?" said Sonic to Knuckles and Knuckles Jr.
"Well,"
said Knuckles,
"can we tell you and you promise not to tell anyone?"
"Don't worry," said Knuckles Jr. to Knuckles. "I can tell he will not tell anyone."
"Okay then,"
said Knuckles to Sonic.
"When we are alone and not being held by Rouge, we like to..."
Oh, God. Oh, God.
"We like to practice kissing on each other. It is technically okay because I am Knuckles Jr.'s dad, and a dad is allowed to kiss his baby."
I forgot about this part. Is anyone drinking alcohol right now? Yes, me. Okay, cool, said Sonic. "Show me." "Oh no." So Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. got very up close to each other and started and kissed each other in a really good way. It was okay because they are father and son and also both brothers, and that is allowed everywhere. Oh, no, the fuck it is not, author. Hello? And it is not illegal even if they are both babies now. The two of them kissing looked like two big, not sexual caterpillars pushing themselves together. It was not... Oh my god. Ugh. It was not a sexual kiss, but it was a big gold medal kiss anyway. Wow, the Riverman is my only book rec, just saying. Well, I appreciate the book recommendations. I need them to get through this bullshit. Holy Alabama. Yeah, no shit. Ugh, God. Wow. I can tell you are both going to be romance experts when you grow up, said Sonic. I would ask you for tips, but it would probably then be against the law. Sonic asked them to kiss one more time, and they did, but Sonic videotaped it this time so he would know how to kiss Amy even better next time they kissed, which would be when she gets out of dentition. Then they all had a root beer and talked about which girls are the hottest. Which girl do you think is the hottest? Said Sonic to Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. I know my answer. It is Amy. Amy was Sonic's girlfriend, so this was very good of him to say. It proves that he should be able to have sex with her. No way!
No way,
said Knuckles. Remember what I said about language? I'm not censoring anything in this fanfic. Word of warning. Just then, Sonic wanted to slug that little fag bitch in the mouth for saying ugly about his girlfriend, but didn't.
The hottest girl is Rouge.
None of them could say that Rouge was not attractive because she had the absolute biggest boobs in the tri-state area. My opinion is different, said Knuckles Jr. I think the hottest girl is Charmy. They all laughed so hard because Charmy was so much like a girl, except not hot. Everyone knew that laughing was good for them, even if Charmy was kidnapped or dead, and that made them feel healthy. Knuckles Jr. was definitely the coolest baby because everyone could get along with them and he could do jokes also. Then they all got out of their clothes and into bedtime clothes. Jesus Christ, thank you. Thank God. And into bedtime clothes and went to sleep. Sonic was sleeping just fine and normally until there was a whisper at the edge of his face. Sonic, 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 said the whisper. Sonic, Sonic, Sonic. Sonic opened his eyes and saw the person whispering to him, and who he was right there. What gets under my skin isn't just the act himself, but how the narrator attempts to justify it. Yeah, seriously. Seriously, that's so annoying. Like, don't even write it if you're going to have to keep justifying it. What is it, Knuckles Jr.? Said Sonic to Knuckles Jr. I was sleeping until you whispered... Thanks for the donation, by the way, sorry. I was sleeping until you whispered my name to me. I had a vision, said Knuckles Jr. I know who the real Killer Man is, and I know where Charmy is. Dun dun dun. Oh no. No. Oh no. Oh, this is it, guys. This is it, folks. If you have alcohol, drink it. If you have drugs, take them. If you have the ability to ascend to another plane of existence so you don't have to hear Chapter 17, go there. Okay. Warning. Contains the worst sex scene ever written. And yes, I have read My Immortal. The My Immortal review is coming. I promise you that. In the near future, the My Immortal review will come and you'll finally know what all the fuss is about. And no, the thing I'm reading now is not My Immortal, it's something else. Author's notes. If you have any comments or compliments or questions or suggestions, please leave a review or comment. I really like getting them and it makes me want to write more. I could probably write a Wikipedia about everything in this series so far. Yeah, here's a comment. Fuck you. Honestly. Ass! This window will not open, not even a little, said Sonic, as he tried pushing the window of the house where Charmy Bee was in Knuckles Jr.'s vision. Sonic even put his back up against the wall and tried using the top of his head and hands to push up on it, but it would not move because it was just such a big and heavy closed window. It looks like you're having a hard time, said Knuckles Jr. Weak pussy. Knuckles Jr. laughed because he was kidding, but Sonic did not think that it was that funny and gave him a look that it was like he just took the pickles off Sonic's hamburger that he specifically asked for pickles on. In addition, Sonic really liked pickles. Is that true? I thought he liked chili dogs. We need help, but I do not want to bring someone else into this problem, said Sonic to Knuckles Jr., thinking. Sonic thought about, who is strong? He thought of some people, like Knuckles, but then remembered that he is now a baby and hence thus not a strong guy. And Tails, who was not strong but probably had some strong robots, and Espio, who was probably about the same in strongness as Sonic, but Sonic did not want to ask him for help because that would be like saying, you are stronger than me. And Sonic did not want to say that to Espio. Oh god. Remember what I said earlier today, okay? He also thought of Big the Cat, who was in some... who was in some retard classes at school, but he did not want to talk to him because it was always weird. Oh yeah, with the I have no mouth, I must scream speech in the chat right now. There is only one person that Sonic could think of. Come with me, Knuckles Jr., said Sonic to Knuckles Jr. It was the middle of the night, and Sonic and Knuckles Jr. went up to the door of a different house. Ding dong, said the doorbell when Sonic pressed it. Press it again, said Knuckles Jr. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding doing, said the doorbell again and again as Sonic pressed it. Sonic saw the lights flashing on and off inside the house every time he pressed it and laughed because it was so annoying, and the person inside the house was probably just trying to sleep. But Sonic needed help, so too bad. Finally, the door opened, and there was the lunch lady from high school, who was deaf. What is it, children? Said the lunch lady. Since she was deaf, when she talked, it sounded weird and kind of like Big the Cat, where you think she is retarded, but she is actually not, and it just because she is deaf, so everything she says sounds totally wrong. It sounded more like, I'm not doing a voice, because that will incriminate me in some way. What id chodran, than normal language. Big the Cat was actually retarded, though, so it was different. Okay, I have no idea who Big the Cat is either. Like, who is Big the Cat? Who is he? Is he actually, like, special like that? What's his deal? Someone tell me in the chat. We need your help. It is very important, said Sonic, and made a face like a beggar idiot to get her to say yes. Okay, I will help you, said the lunch lady. Sonic and Knuckles Jr. were so excited that they high-fived right there because this was just what they needed to do what they wanted to do. Sonic and Knuckles Jr., Big the Cat loves fishing. Hey, kind of like me. Maybe that's the character I relate to the most. He's just a stoned, chill fisherman. Yeah, I like that guy. I like fishing. I like cats, so I guess I'm Big the Cat. Sonic and Knuckles Jr. and the lunch lady went back to the house where Charmy was and went to the window that Sonic could not open. Please open this window, said Sonic to the lunch lady. How long is this fanfiction? 25 chapters. We're on chapter 17 now. The lunch lady walked over to the window, and with just her pinky finger, she opened the window like she was a walking elephant picking up a piece of string because it was so easy. Jesus. Wow, thank you, said Sonic and Knuckles Jr. at the same time in the middle of the night. No, that is not how you thank me, said the lunch lady. When the lunch lady lived in Bangladesh as a young woman, she learned about the ancient tradition of sex thanking, and she explained it all to Sonic. So you want me to give you sex with my mouth, said Sonic to the lunch lady. Yes, because it is an ancient tradition. It is not slutty, said the lunch lady, who was also really tall. Amy will forgive me for this, thought Sonic underneath his hair in his brain. Thanks for specifying that his brain was in his hair. Oh, for God's sake. She would know that I am doing this for a good reason, and we have not even done sex yet. So she cannot be mad at me, and even if she is, I would let her give sex to the lunch lady too, and I would not get mad, but then we would be even. Oh, here it comes. Here it comes, everyone. Sonic winked and gave her a thumbs up, and then the lunch lady pulled her dress down and sat down on a tree stump and opened her legs. Excuse me. Ugh. Eduardo Aguero, you picked the worst possible time to join. I am so sorry for what you're about to experience. Sonic looked at the lunch lady's vagina, and it looked like a sideways piece of lasagna in between two dogs walking down and away from it. Sonic thought her vagina was really attractive for a middle-aged lady and put his head closer to it. Sonic had never done mouth sex before, but he had read about it online and maybe looked at some pictures or videos really quick, but that closed them before he would get in trouble with Mom. Sonic tried to think about the videos to know what to do, but it turned out Sonic was quite the sex man. It all came naturally to him anyways. By the way, hi, I remember you from all the FNAF videos. Those were cool. Eduardo, please, I'm begging you. Save yourself. Go back to the FNAF videos. I'm begging you. Okay, I'm just gonna say, like, what follows next is just such proof that this author has no idea what he's actually talking about. Hopefully all my super chats made this worth it. They are gonna make it worth it. Icy Flower Gamer, thanks for the donation. I'm gonna need it for my therapy. Sonic opened his mouth and chewed on the lunch lady's vagina really hard, like Pac-Man running into the bottom of one of the ghosts nonstop. She was totally quiet while he did this, but she was beating on the ground and making huge holes like meteors, and even hit a tree nearby, and it broke in half because she was so in love with Sonic's abilities. Sonic nibbled on her outer vagina, and it tasted like a birthday cake. His penis even popped up during this like a meerkat looking out for its family on Meerkat Manor. He kept going on closer into her vagina and making sure to get every part of it on the way down, like a window washer in New York City washing windows, but instead it was her vagina, so it was sexy. Sonic also kissed and sucked on her vagina like he was trying to appreciate the secret sauce in the lunch lady's roast beef sandwich without opening the sandwich. Sonic even used his... Sonic even used his tongue and scooped eggs out of her vagina. Out of her vagina that were made during the female reproduction process. He kept going further into her vagina until he was able to fit his entire head in. It was really dark inside her vagina because there weren't any lights. This story ruined Arby's for me. Pardon me while I vomit. Thank you for the donations, guys. This is helping me with my therapy. It was really dark inside her vagina because there weren't any lights, but it was clearly where the sexiest parts of her were. It was spacious like an empty factory, from all the previous sex thinking people had done to her. Sonic was able to get them sex spots all using his mouth and nose and forehead, pleasing her and making her fall in love with him. He was rolling his head around in her vagina like he was doing a hula hoop on his neck. She was so impressed that Sonic thought she would email everyone in Bangladesh to tell them how good Sonic was at sex stinking later. Sonic decided it was time to finish all this and shouted, "Yeah!" inside her vagina to make vibrations bounce off the walls of her vagina and hitting all of her sex spots at once. The lunch lady was so excited that she pulled the tree stump that she was sitting out of the ground. She could do this because she was very strong and experienced with carrying trees. Sonic took his head out of her vagina and brushed the vagina crumbs off his face and combed his hair. Oh God. I don't think this author knows how women work. I don't think this author knows how anything works. "You're welcome," laughed Sonic smoothly to the lunch lady and looked at Knuckles Jr., who was watching with big eyes, but did not say anything. The lunch lady put her clothes on and shook his hand and said that the people of Bangladesh would be very impressed with him and that if he ever wanted to visit her, just to tell her, and she could buy plane tickets for him and all his friends. The lunch lady was really nice, even if she had weird ideas that she got from being in Asia where she was little. She went back home to get to sleep. Sonic and Knuckles Jr. then went inside the open window. "He is in there, I know it," said Knuckles Jr., who was pointing at a closet in the room that they were in, which was now inside the house and it was a bedroom inside. Sonic and Knuckles tiptoed over to the closet and opened it up, and what they saw was surprising and shocking and scary. It was Charmy Bee's body, all dead and bloody and rotting and cut up into pieces. "Wow, he is completely dead," said Sonic, who was so shocked that he could not think about anything else. It was true. Here's a fun fact for you. The only reason this scene happened was because a commentator said that the lunch lady was the best character in the fic. Well, that is true. She is the best character. Eduardo, I told you to leave. You didn't listen to me. Now, this is the price you pay. Thank you for the donation, Icy Flower Gamer. "Oh my God, I am seeing so many shocking things for the first time today," said... Okay, that might actually be the only, unironically funny line in this fanfic. I'm going to highlight it again. "Oh my God, I am seeing so many shocking things for the first time today," said Knuckles Jr. That is actually funny. I'll give him credit for that. Sonic went down and picked up a piece of his body and saw bite marks on it. Sonic was about to say something, and then all of a sudden this happened. "What are you doing, idiots?" shouted Vector. "How did you get in here?" "That window, bitch dick," said Sonic as he felt a sudden rage build up inside of him like the foam from cream soda going over the top of the glass when someone pours it like an idiot ass. These similes, I swear to God, each simile could just be its whole separate book. "What is wrong with you? Why did you do this? Why are you the murderer?" "Ha ha, let me show you how," said Vector as he ran at Sonic and Knuckles Jr., chomping his teeth in the style of an alligator. Unbelievable. So Vector's a murderer. Chapter 18, The Murderer. Vector ran at Knuckles and Sonic... Vector ran at Sonic and Knuckles Jr., who were there in his room with his teeth going 1,000,000 miles an hour. "Here comes your death straight from my mouth," said Vector as he ran at them, still going. "Ah!" shouted Sonic. Sonic was fast and able to do it, so he ran forward and between Vector's legs, under his body, and hit his head into Vector's penis while sliding through. He was still holding Knuckles Jr., the baby. Sonic ran to another wall of the room, but Vector ran right back at him with his big crocodile bite move, and Sonic dodged him again, and it kept happening again and again. "Stop it!" shouted Sonic. "Stop doing this!" Sonic was sick of hitting his head into Vector's penis. It was beginning to leave a mark, and it was embarrassing to Sonic to have someone else's penis mark on your head. "This better come out before school," said Sonic, rubbing the mark Vector's penis left on his forehead. "No, you must die," said Vector, and continued to be the murderer that he turned out to be. "No, stop, come on," said Sonic, yelling, and he was getting so mad. But Vector ran at him another time, and Sonic kept hitting his thick green crocodile dick, and it kept getting harder now every time he hit it. Sonic guessed weird things like this were sexy to Vector. Sonic kept hitting his penis and making it harder and harder until one time Sonic slid under where his penis and stuff was and hit it with his head so hard, with his head again, so semen ejaculated out of his penis and across the floor in a big long puddle like a slip and slide covered with mayonnaise. "All right," said Sonic. Vector looked shocked, like he did not even notice that his penis was turning into a hard penis. Now Sonic threw Knuckles... No. No. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay. Now Sonic threw Knuckles Jr. at the puddle of Vector's semen. Knuckles Jr. Oh, God. No. Oh my fucking Christ. No way. Knuckles Jr. glided across Vector's semen like a baby speedboat and did a roller coaster turn and flew up onto Vector. Knuckles Jr. landed somewhere on him and did a tumble forward and got his head where he poked Vector's eyes, and Vector began to scream. "Ah! Bitch baby, that hurts. I'll kill you." "This is illegal, you know." Thank you, Wand of Gamelon sound bit. I like these moments because one saved me from an evil rapist while living on the streets. This whole fanfic saved me from an evil rapist while living on the streets. This is considered right? Yeah, I mean, in a court of law, there could be some argument to be made that it's satire because like the author came out and said he made this as a joke later on, but this is really bad. Just in terms of like legality, this is probably the worst. "Over here, Sonic," said Knuckles Jr., while Vector was still rubbing his eyes, which hurt from the attack. Sonic ran over to the door and with his speeding legs kicked it down like a professional wrestler, picking a person up and hitting them down onto the ground through the door. Sonic then picked up Knuckles Jr. and ran through the balls and down the hall through Vector's house and saw lots of green things and things that were about crocodiles, and also bad things like rooms and full of drugs and guns, and even things like weird African porn videos. Then he got to a different door and opened it and walked into the other side and closed the door and put some other things in front of the door to block it. Then with a stomping loud noise like a bowling ball with legs was jumping up and down on the floor and hitting it hard. Vector went up to the door and put his body on it, trying to crash through it like a penis going into a big hard vagina. "Open this, please," screamed Vector as he tried to hit it down. "No! Why did you kill Charmy?" shouted Sonic at Vector, who was on the other side of the door that was hard to get through. Here's the big explanation. Because Knuckles messed it all up. Knuckles or Espio was supposed to kill the other one when they fought in the school hallway that one time. I made that fight happen because I wanted one of them to die because they are both fag lords, and they're the only people who could beat me and become the new football team captain. So I went to Knuckles' house instead after and replaced him with a robot Charmy and took the real Charmy home and chewed on his broken body and made him into meat so I can use for meals. He was no use to anyone, especially not me. None of you are. Vector screamed and hit the door, but still could not get through. "Where did you get a Charmy robot? Is Eggman involved? This could ruin things for everyone, don't you know?" said Sonic back to Vector, like a ship sending a message to a different ship. "When you begin to do crimes, you become dark, and now I've become darker than Shadow. I made friends with Al-Qaeda, and they made me a Charmy Bee robot using Osama bin Laden's technology." Jesus Christ. He was bulletproof and was going to kill first Knuckles and then Espio in the hospital, and then maybe the rest of you if you wanted, but you messed it up, shit idiot. Vector hit on the door so hard that it actually started to break. "Let's get out of here," said Knuckles Jr. "We can call police. Let's just get out of here and get safe." Then Sonic and Knuckles ran out of the house, but just when they were doing that, Vector broke through the door and jumped like an alligator at Sonic and Knuckles Jr. and hit them to the ground and landed on top of them. "Now I will kill you just like I did to Charmy," said Vector, and opened his mouth really big to bite their bodies. But then all of a sudden, something came out from the sky and picked them up, and Vector was left there on the ground looking like a teen loser. "We're in the air now," said Tails. "I rescued you." Tails was using his flying tails to fly and was holding Sonic, who was holding Knuckles Jr. They were like a helicopter? "What? How did you know we were here?" said Sonic, who was so shocked to be in this situation. "I looked at the Charmy Bee robot and figured out it was from Al-Qaeda and broke into the government computer network system data and found out that Vector was friends with Al-Qaeda," said Tails, the smart friend of Sonic. "But I thought you were pissed at me," said Sonic with a questioning sound. Huh? Questioning sound. I've been working on my Tim Allen Tool Time impression. Hold on, let me try it again. Hold on. Okay, so maybe I can't do it now. So that was the questioning sound Sonic made. "I am tired of being mad at you. We are best friends again," said Tails. "Cool, now let's get Vector," said Sonic. By now they were up above the clouds, which is very high. "Fly down and I will kick his face off." Tails flew down fast, and Sonic held on to Knuckles Jr. really tightfully. Sonic had his legs sticking out to kick, and they went down faster than a shooting star being shot out of a gun down. They went down back to the floor where Vector was and kicked Vector's face. Vector's head almost spun around because they hit him so hard, but now he was on the ground. "Tails, do that one more time," said Sonic. Tails flew up, and then Sonic Oh, God. Tails flew up, and then Sonic revealed his balls, even though he could almost see the whole country from up here. He did not care because this was more important. Sonic scratched his balls and held on to Knuckles Jr. while Tails flew down fast again. Sonic's balls dragged behind him in the sky, and then they went down to the bottom of the ground, and Sonic's diseased balls smacked right into Vector's face. "No!" screamed Vector, as Sonic's balls smacked into his mouth and nose and eyes like a plastic bag full of pudding. Oh, God. Vector looked into the sky and... Vector looked into the sky and made an asshole face for the last time. And then he turned to stone and then turned into dust and was now dead. I can be glad for once that my balls are very poisonous. Oh my God. Ugh. Said Sonic as he looked at the pile of dust that was Vector before he died and did some squinting. He is dead, and everyone is okay now. Thank goodness, said Knuckles Jr. to them. This was too much excitement for one night. Look at the bright side, said Tails to them. 2 of the worst fag-ass teenagers in high school are dead. Yes, it is all fixed now, said Sonic. They took Charmy's body with them, but not Vector's, who was now a pile of dust, because they thought he did not deserve to be nice to. Then they went home to get ready for school tomorrow, and Sonic thought, there are still more problems to deal with in high school. This is not over, especially not for me. Wow. Best death scene... Oh, God. No... I've seen lobotomies more educational than this. That's what I'm going to need after this reading's done. Jesus did not die on the cross for this. He's going to have to die at least a few more times, I think. Chapter 19. Secret Prostitute. Good Lord. I actually don't remember this one. I don't remember what the sex scene is. It was now a new day of school, and Sonic went right to school. Sonic had Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. in his backpack since he still had them after explaining what happened to Knuckles yesterday. Sonic scratched his balls along the way, and they were only getting worse. You look like spoiled meat, said Sonic to his balls. Sonic got to school, and the first thing he did was bring Charmy's dead head to the theater club, because that was Charmy's favorite thing, and Sonic thought Charmy would like it if they used his face for a mask for the next play now that he is dead. Then Sonic took the rest of Charmy B's body and put it outside in a trash can so nobody would look and try and find it and could be safe and alone. Sonic went to his first class and his second class, and even his third class and else, and went to lunch, where there were his friends. Hey guys, said Sonic to them. Hey Sonic, said SBO. I am back from the hospital. Where is Charmy and Vector? Well, they are dead, said Sonic. Vector killed Charmy, and we KO'd Vector. So now they are both dead. Vector was a bad guy, so we will not be in trouble. Yeah, said Tails. They will not come back to lunch anymore. I rescued Sonic and Knuckles Jr. Oh, that's right. Where are Knuckles, my baby with Rouge, and Knuckles Jr.? Said Espio to Sonic and Tails. They are right here. Here you go, said Sonic, and Sonic gave the two babies to Espio. What a relief. Sonic was tired of having to take care of babies that were not even his. It is good that Sonic has the best morals of all Hugh school students. Hugh. Hey, Jimbo! Because any other person pretty much would have not taken good care of them. Hey, ass... Oh, sorry, this is Shadow. Hey, ass butthole, said Shadow. It is my job to do crimes. Then Shadow laughed and high-fived Sonic for doing a good job. Sonic was the best. Please explain to Silver what happened, said Sonic to Shadow. Okay, I will explain it to him. I wish he was in the same lunch period as us, but he is not, said Shadow in an explaining way. I would not high-five Sonic, said Tails. His balls are full of poison, and it is easily catchable. Tails! Screamed Sonic. So it is true, you really do have a ball problem, said Espio. It is okay, Sonic. Other people have problems, and your balls are just like theirs. Okay, but this is different and bad and getting only more worse, said Sonic, with a worrying voice. Whatever. It is almost summer, said Tails. That means high school is ending soon. Cool, yeah, said everyone at the same time because it was easier to. Then everyone went to different classes. Tails went to his smart class that he was in with Cream, but Cream was standing outside of the class where Tails went to. Cream, you are standing outside the class. Why? Said Tails to Cream. Didn't you hear? Charmy B is dead and it relaxes me so much because now I do not have to break up with him. We can become true boyfriend and girlfriend now, said Cream to Tails in the hallway outside. But we have class now, said Tails to Cream. Oh no. Remember, the author aged them up to 18, folks. Forget class, smarto, said Cream shoutingly. Cream pulled on Tails' hand until his whole body moved and brought him into a closet in the school. It was big enough inside for sex, is what Tails noticed. Cream locked the door and took off all of her clothing. Jesus Christ. Tails was so shocked, but he looked at her sexy body, and it looked like a beautiful naked man with a vagina. Oh my god. Cream took out her vagini. No way. And showed it to Tails, and he went nuts. His penis got hard as a printer because her vagina looked like a cold-cut platter. Wow, cool vagina, shouted Tails, losing his cool way because he was nervous and excited to miss class and have sex with Cream for the first time. Tails took out all of his penis and balls, which were already ready, and he jumped right into her Oh my god. That is so insane. Right into her invitation-only body parts. Good lord. Tails jumped up and down with his penis inside her, cheering like a boy teen and shaking his fists in the air like the Rocky movies. And Cream was happy because she was not a love expert too. Tails' penis kept getting bigger and Cream's vagina was already pretty much full of his penis. Make room. We've got company, screamed Tails. No. Ugh. And then he was able to stick his balls in too, under his penis. Tails fit so much genitals into Cream that it looked like there was an upside down couch sofa in her vagina. Tails shook around like a crazy, and Cream was slapping her hands and ears into the doors and cleaning supplies in the closet. Cream was then now trying to make him even more sex-powered by pulling on her boobs and far enough out to touch his face like two melty gummy bears on her body. "Eat from these!" screamed Cream, and her voice was breaking like a talking toy that had one of its batteries halfway out, and my brother spilled juice on it so it didn't work right anymore. We have lore about Dark Doom Firemaster here. Good grief. Tails sucked on her boobies while his penis was still in her and got all the stuff out like he was eating yogurt only with his mouth, and it supercharged him with sex. Ah, ready? Yelled Tails to Cream. And before she could say a thing, Tails started waving his flying tails, and he flew up with his penis still in her, and pointing his penis up so that she went up and was now stuck against the ceiling. "I am about to make my semen. Get ready," said Tails so loud over the sound of his own tails he was making. Tails flew his tails even harder, and Cream got pushed into the metal ceiling so hard that it made a dent. And then Tails' penis shot a gallon of his own New England clam chowder into her. No. No, don't make me say it. Don't make me say it. No. Into her first time vagina. It got overfull and spilled plenty on the ground, but not both of them cared. Tails slowed down his tail speed, and his penis got smaller. And so did her. And they were both out of breath. Ugh. "We are true boyfriend and girlfriend now," said Cream, and hugged Tails. Tails was so happy and shocked that he became true boyfriend and girlfriend before Sonic did with Amy. Cream put her clothing back on and left, and Tails put his on too. Then he looked at his penis and saw a golden ring on it. "What is this? What is this doing here? A big gold ring?" said Tails, and he took off the bracelet off his penis. Why was Why was this in Cream's vagina? He thought about it, and because he was smart, remembered where he saw this thing. At the end of school, Tails ran to Sonic privately and said, Sonic, look." "What's that?" said Sonic to Tails. "A big gold ring. Cool, let's sell it for cash." "No," said Tails to Sonic. "This is Amy's bracelet, and I found it in Cream's vagina." "What?" said Sonic to Tails. "How did this get in here?" He took the ring and had it. I can only think of one thing," said Tails to Tails. "I do not mean to suggest this to you and say that she is being a bad girlfriend, but maybe Amy was giving Cream hand sex." What? No way, shouted Sonic to Tails. I do not mean to suggest this to you and say that she's being a bad girlfriend. Oh, I'm so sorry. I read the completely wrong line. But that is the only thing that makes sense. Amy cheated on me. That loose woman. She is a concubine and a bitch. Sonic got madder than Tails ever saw him get mad and ran off fast. Sonic did not know where he was running to, and to be real, he was not running anywhere. He was running in a really big circle around the town and crying and screaming because Amy cheating on him made him feel worse than anything. Sonic ran around for hours until all his feelings were out. What do we got here? Drath says, "You're gonna pay me double for voice work going forward, or that first time soundbite is gonna make the rounds, my friend. Here's $5. Keep it up." No. Oh. Drath made blackmail about me. But thanks for the $5, Drath. You're a good person. Oh, Drath is the person who Drath voiced Spring Bonnie in my FNAF reimagining that I did back in Christmas. So everyone give Drath a round of applause in the chat. We got a celebrity with us. Sonic ran around for hours until all his feelings were out, and he was tired from running and being sad and mad and feelings that are hard to say what they are. He stopped and said, "There is only one thing that can make this situation better. I have to go tell Amy that I know. Maybe she will say she is sorry." Sonic went back to his high school and over to the detention room. Oh god. The security guard. I forgot about this. People were like leaving comments in the video about the security guard. I'm just imagining a fucking like butternut squash with a little badge. The security guard was standing outside, but Sonic used his sonic speed to run over to him and punch him so hard in the throat that it closed up for a while, and he became unconscious. Sonic took a key from off his keys thing and opened the door to the detention room and saw Amy and Rouge in the corner. Amy and Rouge were both sleeping and they looked really skinny and hungry. It made their boobs look bigger, but they also looked steps from death. They had been in detention for days now. And they had not eaten or drinking at all. Wait, so know how we spelled detention right, but not guard? Well, to be fair, he didn't spell detention right any other time. Sonic looked at Amy and felt bad for her. It would be so easy to have sex with her right now. Sonic, do not say that. Not when she's unconscious. Unconscience. I meant... said Sonic behind his face. In his head, not out loud. We could even become true boyfriend and girlfriend and could pretend like none of this did happen. Do you really become true boyfriend and girlfriend if it's non-consensual, Sonic? I don't know, something tells me that's not how that works. You become true something, like true sex offender maybe. Sonic. Fucking pervert. Sonic. Sonic thought about it a little bit and even gave his chubby blue penis a toss back and forth like a baseball in a sock. But no, we would not really be true. Not when she cheated on me. Sonic got ready to wake up Amy and show her her bracelet. Wait, what? Hold up. Chapter 20. New Sonic. Okay, so this is what Dink Matter left. For some reason, I read this chapter with "This is Halloween" in my head. I don't know why, and anyone who asks is Fuck it, I don't... I'm... No. Fuck you. Fuck you. Frederick No 609. Reading bad books is fun and good for learning what not to do, but doing it alone sucks, so I'm glad you could help us out to the good part. Good night. Good night, Frederick. Thank you very much for the donation. Hope you have a good rest of your evening. This shit makes me stress eat. Anyone want some rice? This makes me stress drink, actually, which I'm pretty sure is just called alcoholism. Fuck, I'm out of bourbon. Dodecahedral gay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Author's note. I am so happy because it is now summer now. Woohoo! I am done with school for this year, but here I come, 8th grade. Also, I will be away on a vacation next week, so I will not be able to write another chapter until I am back from being on the vacation. Sorry. Wake up, said Sonic to Amy as he kicked her a little on the ground where she was lying, looking like a dead woman, but she was not actually dead. Wake up! Amy opened her eyes and blinked and rubbed her eyes, and then she sat up a little. Sonic? She said in a voice like a person who was living poorly. Is that you? Amy looked so old and dead from being in detention. It looked like she did not eat or drink at all in a week. Yes, it is. Now listen, said Sonic angrily to Amy, who was still on the ground looking up while looking dying. Do you know where I found this? Sonic held out Amy's big gold bracelet from her hand that she was not wearing, so it must have been hers. What? Said Amy to Sonic, looking confused and tired. That is mine. Where did you find that? Oh, God. Amy coughed and sounded like diseased African kids. Oh, my God. Why? Why? Wow, idiot. I just asked you that, said Sonic to Amy in an angry and annoyed way. So you are not going to tell me where this bracelet was? I don't know, said Amy to Sonic with a crackly sounding voice. It was up in Cream's vagina, that is where, said Sonic to Amy. Why was your jewelry in another girl's vagina? Screamed Sonic. I, said Amy, trying to say what she wanted to in a response to Sonic. Nick, wait if you want to go grab more alcohol, we understand. No, I probably shouldn't. Thanks for the thought, though. Say you are sorry to me, shouted Sonic at Amy. No, Sonic, said Amy in still a slow, dying way like that. Fuck you! If you're not gonna say you are sorry for cheating on me with another girl's vagina, then we are done! Shouted Sonic, with all of his rage running out of his mouth like a train full of swords. That's fire writing. Sonic did not even notice he was crying, which was out of his eyes. Sonic, don't! Said Amy like a weakling, but before she could say the rest of her words, Sonic ran out of the detention room and shut the door behind him so they were still in there, and he did not rescue them. Sonic ran as fast as he could to his home and slammed the door behind him and screamed into his bed and cried and punched things and was just so emotional. Sonic could not take all of his pain from being betrayed by his girlfriend, the person he was one day going to go and get married to and have children with and live in a house with and be together. Sonic knew it was not fair that this would happen and that he would also have the deadliest disease in the world and would end up dying before everyone else. He cut his wrists a little, but did not do it too much because it was dangerous, like they say at the presentation at school. Yeah, I know what they say. What was that they say? Sideways for attention, vertical for results. Is that what they say? Sonic. whatever. Fuck this story. Fuck this fucking story. Sonic cried so hard that he fell asleep, and then he woke up a little while later and looked in the mirror at himself. He did not want to see him anymore, because that was all about him being ruined by other people, even when he was the nicest to everyone. Seriously? Sonic reached into his drawers and pulled out a black hair dye. Diagonal for style points. Jesus Christ. Sonic filled up the bathtub with this dye, and it looked like a portal to Evil World, and then took a bath in it. And when he came out, all of his fur was black. Oh boy, okay, this is the new Black Sonic part, everyone. Viewer discretion is advised. There is no blue on him anymore, anywhere. He looks like Shadow, but only similar. Sonic looked into the mirror again now that he was not blue anymore. He did not want to say anything, but only looked at himself and looked angry, but not at himself, but at everyone else. Then Sonic jumped out of his bedroom window instead of going around and looking around and down and using the front door. It was bad, like something Shadow would do. Sonic ran all the way to the tattoo store and looked at their tattoos. They were all gay. He did not see one that he wanted. But then he went to the tattoo man and threatened him until he let him into the secret back room of tattoos for free. Apparently this author thinks that tattoos are like things in the back room that you can like pick out. Please tell me he doesn't start acting black now that his fur's a different color. Oh, who am I kidding? That's exactly what's gonna happen. Yeah, he doesn't like act black per se, but just read, just wait. There were a lot of cool bad tattoos back in the back room, like ones with guns and cigarettes, and motorcycles and middle fingers, and some with also curse words on them. Ooh, those are the evil cursed tattoos. But Sonic knew which one he wanted finally when he saw it. Sonic got "fuck girls" tattooed right across his chest because he was sick of being ruined by girls like Amy and Cream, who let Amy into her vagina so it was the fault of her too. Sonic ran back home and waited for the next day, kicking and punching things the whole time like a badass. Nick, you've clearly never gotten a backroom tattoo. You know what? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Called out my lack of knowledge of tattoos. It was now the next day of school, and new Black Sonic went to school, looking like an angry... looking like an angry black man instead of a nice blue man like he was every other day. This was a new Sonic, and everyone better watch out because he is sick of the world. Shadow was walking in the hallway and he saw Sonic. "Hey, Sonic," said Shadow to Sonic. "What is up with your new black fur?" Hold on. Okay, so Sonic says this in a voice darker than Shadow when he was committing crimes. "Don't talk to me," said Sonic in a voice darker than Shadow when he was committing crimes. He sounded so angry. "What are you trying to copy off me now?" Shadow laughed and smiled, saying this to Sonic. Sonic gave him one look, and almost like being black gave him powers, Sonic punched Shadow right in the mouth, on his face, and Shadow went flying across the room and hit the wall and was all bloody. Sonic kept walking like nothing happened at all, but other people were looking and were now becoming scared of the new Black Sonic. Sonic went to all his classes, but did not talk to anyone. Even Miss Lesson and other teachers looked afraid of Sonic because he was now scary. Sonic did do some things, though, like shove a teenage idiot into his locker, and then punch and then punch a student who had autism for laughing at him. Oh boy. Sonic did not go to lunch, though. He just went outside where no one was and masturbated on his penis and thought about his angry feelings, which were like giant bees flying around on fire. Then Tails came outside. Sonic, I was looking for you and I found you. Why are you not at lunch? Said Tails to Sonic, who was sitting on a curb thing. Why?
Leave me alone,
said Sonic to Tails in the angry way like before. Are you mad? Said Tails to Sonic.
I said, leave me alone,
shouted Sonic to Tails, and he threw a rock at him. And he threw a rock at him. Oh, all the people. Sonic gonna kill me. I remember when a big black hedgehog suplexed me in the hallway. Oh, Sonic done gonna kill all of us. The rock missed Tails, and Tails went over to Sonic. No, Sonic, you are my best friend, said Tails to Sonic. Tell me, what is wrong? What? Why are you black? Why are you black? Why are you gay? No way. Sonic looked mad and frustrated, but let off a little and opened up to Tails like a book opening.
Fine, that bitch Amy, who is not my girlfriend anymore, would not say sorry to me, so I broke up with her,
said Tails to Sonic, but Sonic was not looking at Tails and was looking at the ground. Oh my god, panic, said Tails to Sonic. He was looking at Sonic, though. This voice is really starting to hurt me. Hold on.
No, I am over her. I am different now. I have learned about the world, and I am not so stupid and happy like I used to be. I am black now,
Sonic said to Tails, sounding still angry even though he was talking to Tails. Oh, okay. Oh my god, my head. Oh. Said Tails, sounding sad and disappointed. I just wanted to make sure you are okay. Espio was worried about you too. He also said Knuckles might fail out of high school because he is now a baby and is having the hardest time doing his classes as a baby. I brought you a sandwich. Tails gave this sandwich to Sonic and he ate it like a rhino chewing up a bag of humans. And when he finished the sandwich, the next period started, and Tails and Sonic went to the rest of their classes. Sonic then went home at the end of the day and lied down on his bed and looked up.
Fuck everyone,
thought Sonic inside of his head, not saying it out loud.
Fuck the world. I am gonna die, and no one cares about me.
Sonic just lied and thought and then did a workout to become big and strong. Sonic sat down at the end of it, sweaty and tired, but now strong.
What can I do? Thought Sonic. Wait, Amy and Rouge gets out of detention tomorrow.
Sonic looked at his body in front of him and then said,
I am gonna make that bitch pay.
Oh god. Ugh. Chapter 21. Evil and Bad. Author's note. Wow, I am back. I see that I have earned some haters. I see that I've earned some haters while I was away leaving mean reviews. But just so you all know, this story is rated M and is for mature audiences only. Just because you do not get or understand adult material does not mean you should pass judgment on it. So keep on hating on haters, because I'm going to finish this story because it is so popular. If you leave nice reviews, thank you. Hear that, folks? You stupid motherfuckers do not understand mature adult material. You guys are children. You guys are fucking children. You'll need to go back to 5th grade and play with your Bakugan or whatever it is kids play with these days. Sonic woke up out of his bed and onto the floor and was still angry. Now Sonic was Black Sonic and he had a tattoo. Sonic got ready for school by putting on scary things like chains and spiky collars that made him look bad and went to high school. Sonic went to his classes but did not do what he was told to do in class. He did not talk to anyone, and instead he went on the computer and looked at videos of cigarettes and knives. Sonic then arrived near the lunchroom, which is where they were having lunch, Sonic's friends. Sonic just looked in from outside while everyone was inside and no one was outside, but Sonic, like in a live snowman that looks in your window on Christmas. Sonic saw Amy and Rouge looking still skinny but now eating food in such a happy way. Sonic could hear them talking. "Wow, I am so glad we are out of detention," said Amy to Rouge. "Yes, thanks to Silver we have been escaped from detention," said Rouge to Amy. It looked like Silver did the hero thing to do and saved Amy and Rouge from detention, and now they were out. Sonic was not happy about it, though, being black. Oh, here's some fire writing.
"Haggard bitches,"
said Sonic to the window next to the door that he was looking through into the lunchroom from outside. Sonic saw Tails and Espio and all the other people go over to Amy and Rouge, laughing and smiling that he hung out with before he turned black. And he got mad and sad and left. Sonic walked by the lunchroom's food area, which was a different room but attached to the lunchroom, where there is a separate door that you could get into this part, where the food was made. Sonic walked by and looked in, and the lunch lady was there giving food to all the teenagers, and she saw Sonic and looked surprised at how she looked now with black fur and a tattoo. But then she got over it and waved and smiled. Sonic looked away and kept walking, and behind him the lunch lady looked sad and disappointed and worried. Sonic left the school completely, which is really bad and will get you in big trouble, and went to the Chinese restaurant. Sonic got some Chinese food and ate it. And with his food came a magical fortune cookie where there is a piece of paper hidden inside with a magical fortune on it that tells the future. Sonic opened the cookie and ate the cookie but kept the paper, and it said, "You will not have any friends if you are black." Sonic thought about what it said and wondered what it could mean and what it could mean for him because it was so mysterious, always reading these cookies and their messages. After Sonic went back to school and missed one of his classes but went right to the next one, but on the way into high school, the hall man tried to stop Sonic, but Sonic punched him right in the face so hard that he almost died and got past him. Sonic finished his school day and then went home and punched things, leaving holes in everything that showed he was stronger than everyone now. Sonic also looked at porn that was not usually like he did, now with... Oh my god. Please show mercy to me, folks. Now with things like Africans and dragons. Sonic was becoming so scary. Even though he was very scary now as Black Sonic, his balls were still the same and did not get cured. It became night in the world, but Sonic did not go to sleep like a normal person. In fact, when it got really dark out, Sonic got out of his room from the window and left. Because Sonic was black now, No one could see him in the dark unless you looked pacifically hard just for Sonic, but who was going to do that? Sonic left and went to a bad neighborhood and bought drugs like marijuana and ate some of them and kept the rest in his pocket. Sonic had really changed now from being one with the best morals to ones with the worst, like a seagull becoming angry because it would not get any breadcrumbs in the parking lot. Sonic moved on from the bad neighborhood to where he wanted to go next. Amy's house. Sonic's brain was now being controlled by drugs, and he was becoming even worse than when he was just black. Sonic went to Amy's window and looked into it and saw her sleeping on her bed like a DVD not being used. His head filled up with anger, but it was in a way that actually became kind of happy and angry, and laughed like he wanted to do something bad to her. Sonic looked down at his tattoo that said, "Fuck girls," and it reminded him of what she had done to him. Sonic was so evil that he punched through the window and ran fast right to Amy's bed, and she started to wake up a little from being in sleep mode. Sleep mode. Her eyes were just blinking a little, and she obviously could not see well at all, and especially could not see Sonic because it was dark and he was now black, which was like camouflage. Sonic just grinned at her with an evil look, and just as she started to open her eyes and see his white eyes above her, he punched her right in the face. Amy was now in a lot of pain, but still confused and surprised, and maybe she thought she was nightmaring. But no, it was real, and new Black Sonic was on drugs, about to beat all the shit out of her.
Fuck you, girl!
He screamed, but still smiled, and punched her more in the face until all of her teeth got knocked out, and she was like a grandma who could only eat pudding and not steak. Amy was now screaming and crying, but he stuck a thing in her mouth, and she couldn't do anything. He was so mad under the powers of marijuana, and he looked at her, and she looked so afraid and scared, but he was still smiling and angry. Sonic's black rage was coming out through his fists with violence. But then, all of a sudden, Amy kicked her foot up and hit Sonic right in the balls. Thank God, because the blankets were over Amy's foot as she did this, so she did not touch Sonic's ball disease. It still hurt him very much, though, and he fell off her bed and was in pain from being hit in the balls, which is... oh my God, this man's grasp of biology. Hold on. Which is the most powerful spot on a man, so it hurts the hardest, because it is like the it is like the information superhighway of your body. Oh man, the balls. That's where your second brain is kept, by the way. Sonic hurt so much from this that it was like a hit to his brain, and all the drugs fell off his brain. Sonic suddenly looked around him and saw he was in Amy's room. He ran over to the bed, kind of knowing what just happened, but wondering if it was a dream, like Amy was thinking, but it was not. But it was not. Sonic was lying over Amy's body, and they were both perfectly still like a couple of candy canes, but one was sitting on an invisible bench over the other. Their eyes were so big as they looked at each other, both scared and shocked at what it was that was happening. Amy's mouth was all bloody and no teeth was in it, like a hole that went straight to China, but instead it was to her boobs and then vagina. Sonic and Amy did not say anything either. Sonic suddenly looked sad and scared and got off her bed and backed away toward the side of the room and ran out of it. Sonic was feeling so many feelings. Being scared and sad and shocked and surprised. He could feel little baby tears at the sides of his eyes like... oh my God. Like Jewish people being thrown up in the air at a bar mitzvah. This is one of the stupidest things I've read today. I'm sorry. Of all the stupid things I've read in this fucking fanfic, that is stupid. Holy fuck. I mean, forget the Jewish thing. It's the bar mitzvah. That's the highlight of this sentence. Oh, jeez. He ran, and ran as fast as he could, straight down the road. He ran out of the town and through the forest like a deer that could use a car, and to the edge of the forest where there is a giant cliff. Sonic ran off the edge of the cliff in order to die. Wow. So I guess Sonic really did die. Wow. Hey guys, I'm going to need to take a little breather, okay? My allergies are acting up. I'll be back, okay? Take care. I'll be back in like a minute, okay? Thank you. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, I get allergies. You probably noticed me rubbing like my eyes and my nose for the last like 15-20 minutes. It was getting to a point where it was starting to get painful. So sorry about that, guys. I think Nick caught the ball disease. Yeah, I mean, I won't deny. This is the first time a fan fiction has given me an allergic reaction. I mean, you just witnessed a actual, honest to God, biohazard. So, sorry about that. Yeah. They used to be really bad when I was a kid. Like, sorry, a little bit of story time. When I was a kid, my allergies in my eyes were so bad that, like, the white part, like the cornea, would actually, like, inflame and encroach onto the iris. It was like my iris was being consumed by the cornea. It was really bad. Anyway. Chapter 22, The Saddest Day Ever. Oh god, the funeral. We are gathered here today to put Sonic into the ground, said the funeral man. Sonic died. The other day, a security camera in the woods saw Sonic run off a cliff, and he fell all the way down and hit the ground at the bottom next to the river. His body got so messed up, he is dead for sure. Everyone was at the funeral place, which they decided to put in the garden of the school so they could bury Sonic at high school, which is where he spent most of his time as a teen. All of Sonic's friends who were there were attending his funeral. Tails was right in front and was crying, and next to him was Amy, who was crying the most, and she was hugging Sonic's mom with her face in her boobs, who was crying too, but not so loud, like a honking horn on a bike that she was not squeezing too hard. Everyone was so sad because Sonic is now dead. There was also Rouge and Cream, who was wearing a big ring with a... What? That makes no sense. With a really big, shiny white Jew in it. I think he meant to say jewel. But... Oh my god. Big, really big, shiny Jew. Jewel, Jew, whatever. And they're also crying because they are women and they cannot control their emotions. Oh my god. Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. were there and being held and crying in a baby way, and there was Silver who was crying a little, and even Espio too was crying a little bit at the funeral where they all were. Miss Lesson was there, and she was crying, which made her look uglier. And the lunch lady was there too, and even though she was very big and strong, she cried too because Sonic is dead. Oh no, oh my god, oh. I just read that next line. Okay, remember, I'm sorry, please go easy on me, I'm sorry. Sonic's Chinese doctor was there too, also. He did not cry because his eyes were too small to let them tears out. No! Oh, why? Why did this fanfic make me say that? Oh. Oh, no. Oh. Jesus Christ. I am so sorry, guys. Like, I'm sorry if this legitimately make you uncomfortable. Like, to me, it's just funny. It's just all I can do is laugh. I'm sorry. Charmy and Vector were not at Sonic's funeral because they were dead now. Blaze the cat was not there because no one liked her and no one invited her. Who is Blaze the cat? Does no one like her? I don't know who that is. Amy looked at Rouge. Sorry about that. Amy looked at Rouge and said to Rouge, "Rouge, where is Shadow? He said he was going to come to Sonic's funeral. He is not here." Amy sounded weird and sad, and she did not have any teeth, so all her words came out so idiotly. It was like she was a ghost who could not speak a language that humans could understand. She usually did not talk now that she did not have teeth, because Sonic punched them out of her mouth and into space before he killed himself. "I do not know. Is it that he could be late that he's not here?" said Rouge back to Amy in a sad way. They were right. Shadow was not there. Shadow was dark, but even he was not dark enough to go to Sonic's funeral. So why was it that he was not? "Tails," said Amy now to Tails instead of Rouge, who was on the other side of her, more towards the middle of it. "Where is Shadow? Shadow is not here." Tails looked really sad and crying some, and everyone thought he was going to kill himself in a few days because he is so sad and his best friend is now his dead friend. "I do not know, and it is pissing me off. I should send a robot to kill him," said Tails, sounding mad and sad. Amy made a sad and disappointing face and said, "High school drama is so crazy." Then the funeral man went back to the front like a standing racehorse going to the front and started talking again. "Hello, family and friends and teenagers. We are now going to talk about why we love Sonic so much and we miss him. Everyone please come up and say a nice thing about Sonic so we can remember him before we put him down." How much more of this is this? Jesus Christ, this chapter's really long. Ugh. Tails went up first and went to the spot where he was and said, "Sonic was my best friend. He was the coolest and fastest, and he always knew what to do when we were bored and wanted to have fun. We lived in different houses, but it is like we did not, because we saw each other on the bus. I miss Sonic." Tails started to cry more, and everyone thought that was sad, and Tails went back. Then Amy and Sonic's mom did not go because they were both crying too much, and Amy was embarrassed of her no teeth at all. Then got up Rouge, who was holding Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. like a sexy pelican carrying 2 watermelons in his mouth. "I am going to miss Sonic so much," said Rouge. "He was such a cool and nice guy with all the best morals, and everyone knew his penis was bigger than everyone else's." Rouge was so sex-thinking, but it was okay because it is all about saying good things about the dead person at a funeral, and everyone nodded because of it because it was. Knuckles said,
"I am a baby now, but I have always been Sonic's friend, and I miss him and want to thank care of him for taking care of me as a baby and helping me with my schoolwork as a baby now."
And then Knuckles Jr. said, "I only knew Sonic for a few weeks, but he is the coolest guy I have ever known. He was so fast and smart and good at everything. I wish he didn't kill himself." Then Espia went and said some more sad things, and so did Cream and Silver and the rest of everyone like a conga line of being sad. Then Lunch Lady said that she will always miss Sonic and that he was a nice boy and that she wanted to take him and his friends to see Asia, And Sonic's doctor said that it might not be so bad that Sonic died because now his ball disease has been neutralized. By the time that everyone was done saying things about Sonic, they were all so tired from crying and hungry that they needed to stop and have some food. They had caramel, or how do you pronounce it? Caramel or caramel? I grew up pronouncing it caramel, but then like when I was like 12 or 13, all of a sudden everyone started pronouncing it caramel. Fuck that word. They had caramel, that's what everyone says these days, because Sonic really liked it after that time he had it on vacation, and they had soda because it always made them smile. Soda makes bubbles, and it is cool because how do they do it? But still, even after they did all this, Shadow was not there, and some people thought that was rude, and Tails was about ready to find him and cut his homo throat. Shadow is still not here, said Tails just out loud to everyone and not really anyone. What the heck? Okay, said the funeral man. Stop eating. We are going to put Sonic into the ground forever. Everyone started to yelp and cry because that meant Sonic would never come back because you would get so tired digging him up that you would quit even if he was alive. Everyone went back to the sitting zone and sat in chairs, and the funeral man and his dead person workers picked up the coffin like it was only a cotton candy suitcase and lifted it over the big hole in the ground they made for Sonbic. Sonbic, everyone, please flood the chat with Sonbic. I am begging you. Okay, here he goes, said the funeral man, and they dropped the coffin into the hole and it made a loud sound. No, wait, said a voice from the back, and would you guess it, it was Shadow, who was now here. At the funeral, finally here after it was almost done, and then he said, I have something to say. I have to say something about my friend before you cover him with the dirt. Shadow walked up to the front and Tails reached out and punched him right in the balls as he was walking by. And it put Shadow's balls out of business. Don't be late. Why are you late? That is so mean to Sonic and everyone, said Tails screamingly. Shadow was going backwards in pain because his balls felt like 2 apples getting eaten by birds. Ow, I'm sorry. Listen, I have a reason. Just listen, said Shadow back in pain to Tails. Everyone pretty much agreed with Tails on punching Shadow to show how to respect, but Silver said that he should listen to people before doing something, and the lunch lady said that sometimes you should just be nice instead of being mean, and people will learn the lesson anyway. So, even though Tails is the smartest, sometimes he gets a little crazy, and other people can teach him things that he did not know, but he is still the smartest. Shadow finished being in super ball pain and went to the speaking area and said, Listen, everyone, Sonic, who died, has always been my friend. I may be a dark guy, and I may disargue with Sonic sometimes, but he is always my friend, and I miss him so much even though it has only been a few days since he jumped off the big cliff and messed up his body to death. But I have something I think everyone will all like. Shadow took out a bag that looked glowing from it. I spent my whole life collecting the Ultra Chaos Emeralds, and these are them. What they do is grant you 1 wish when you use them, and then you have to go hide them before you die, and after 100 years someone else can find them and use them. Well, it is time that they are used once again. Shadow held the bag of them up in the air and said, Ultra Chaos Emeralds, I call upon the gods and use you to bring the powers down and give them to me to grant my wish. I wish. And he did a dramatic stop, and everyone looked shocked and amazed and surprised at what he was going to wish for. What was Shadow wish for? Is it going to be for a lot of money? Shadow raised his face up. I wish to bring Sonic back to a healthy life. The bag glowed really hard, and everyone was making a big deal and talking and going around. The funeral man and his people got up to Sonic's coffin out of the hole and put it back in front of everyone. The funeral man used his tool to open the coffin, and there was Sonic. He talked to him, shook him, and checked him for a hard beat. But no, Fairy tales are not real, and Sonic was dead. Unbelievable. Yeah, that was a really long chapter. That was awful. Holy fuck. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Guys, we have 3 chapters left. We have chapter 23, chapter 24, and chapter 25. This chapter, however, contains Shadow X Cream. That's your warning. Chapter 23. What went wrong?
Wow, I feel like such an idiot,
said Shadow inside of him to himself, not speaking out loud.
I thought I could revive Sonic from being dead, but I could not.
Shadow tried using the Ultra Chaos Emeralds to make Sonic become alive for another time, but he definitely did not. What chapter is Tails' song? That would be the next chapter. Shadow made a big deal out of it, and then everyone yelled at Shadow and throw their shoes at him for being an ass. Now Sonic is way down in the ground and dead, so he has to keep going and figure out the rest of high school. Shadow went home by walking because taking Omega would have just made it too much longer to get to Sonic's funeral, so he went by walking. What? Shadow walked back home, and now he was there safely without getting hit by any cars at all. Shadow went up to his house and then his bedroom, and it was all black and red place, like a volcano inside. It looked dark and cool, but not scary like a haunted house, which is scary and has ghosts. Shadow grabbed his sack and looked at his jewels. No! And then he put them on the bed. Shadow looked at them, the Ultra Chaos Emeralds.
Wow, they are so pretty and big, but why did they not work?
Said Shadow. Shadow looked at them further, and then he screamed because something was shocking to him. He knew what was wrong with the crystals, and what it was that one of them was missing. It was easy to see now that they were not in his bag because the one that was missing was the white one, which looks less colored than the rest of them because it is not powerful in color like red or yellow or green.
Shit! Shit!
Screamed Shadow at his bed, where all the things were.
Where's the last crystal? I cannot find it. It is not here. Where did it go?
Shadow was screaming and going positively nuts about it all. Shadow felt like a mother kangaroo who lost her baby after it left her front pocket and left it behind at the jungle where there were dangerous things that it would eat it because the crystal was so cool looking and big that anyone would take it if they saw it, even though the laws said that if something is there, you have to bring it to the police so that they can take it and show everyone to see it's theirs, and if it is, they can have it without being nervous due to losing it. Oh. God. Shadow was so pissed because this did not happen even though he lost it.
I have to find it,
screamed Shadow like an Oprah singer seeing a ghost. Shadow quick went to Omega, the name of Shadow's car, and got in it and touched him to make the map appear.
Omega, set your trackers to find the last Ultra Chaos Emerald because it is lost.
Omega made all kinds of beeping and computer noises, sounding like a bag of technology. Beep, beep, boop, here it is, said Omega to Shadow, sitting in him in the driver's seat, and on Omega's map screen came a red dot that said the last Ultra Chaos Emerald was there. It was not in the cityscape like before, now that it was much closer, so Shadow drove so fast. Shadow finished and got to the place where the red dot was beeping about.
Wow, is it a house? It is a house, said Shadow. Does that mean someone stole the Ultra Chaos Emerald and put it in their house? Is this true?
Shadow got out of his car and went to the side of the house. It was only a little dark outside because it was not late enough or at night to be the darkest possible, so Shadow went to the window and looked inside. It looked normal, not like a crazy place. Shadow climbed up to the side of the house and to a window that looked like it was where the dot was coming from, and Shadow opened the window and broke inside.
Ow, ass,
said Shadow as he got in, hurting his foot a little. Screamed the person who was there in the room that Shadow broke into.
Cream!
Screamed Shadow at Cream, who was in it. Shadow, what are you doing here? Should you not be making a big fool of yourself at the circus, like you were trying to do at Sonic's funeral? There is so much disrespect coming from you. Cream stomped her feet and made a pissed face at him.
No, Cream, you do not see.
Said Shadow, thinking but like an idiot, so he came out in saying, a bunch, sounding not correct. What? What do you want? If it is nothing, please leave my home before I call the police, said Cream to Shadow.
I am here to seduce you,
said Shadow, finally deciding upon a thing. Shadow took out his big, black, cool penis. It was smoking at the end, like he was just finishing getting ready for a big sex opportunity. Oh my god, Shadow, said Cream, looking shocked. What? Shadow felt a little nervous, but did not let it show on his face, or his torrid genitals.
Yes, Cream, I want to pay for all your children to go to school. But first, we have to make some children, and I'm gonna do that right in your vagina, okay?
Oh my god. Smooth, Shadow. How much more longer is this? Oh my god. We're almost done, folks. Cream looked a little hesitant at first, but then said, You know, I accept this. I know I am true boyfriend and girlfriend with tails, but I feel bad for you when he kicked you at the funeral. I want to make you feel better, said Cream, putting on a wink with her eyes. Cream took of her clothes and then and then fell out 2 boobs and a vagina. No, I know, I can't even speak properly at this point. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of saying this bullshit.
Wow, you look so sexy,
said Shadow, pretending to think she is the hottest. Shadow took his penis and planted it right into her mouth.
First we will do this.
Shadow put his penis into Cream's mouth and put it in and out and tried to see how far he could stick it in. Shadow's penis was so big it looked pregnant, and it looked like an anaconda having lunch at Subway. Shadow got so far he almost filled up her lungs and she was coughing. Ellen? Who's Ellen? Is that like Cream's real name or something? I don't know. Ellen was holding onto her vagina for dear life because it was so sexy. To her, it felt like she was trying to eat too many pixie sticks. To Shadow, it was like he was trying to sharpen a pencil. Shadow's penis was really big around, like an air-conditioned vent in just a building. It was hard for Cream to get a word in edgewise, but when she did, it was when Shadow took his penis out for only a tiny moment in geologic time, and she screamed, Shadow, I am drowning in the power of your penis. I am so in love. And then Shadow stuck his... And then Shadow stuck his ridiculous penis back in her mouth, and she would be like a prisoner with handcuffs on her throat.
You embarrass me,
said Shadow, smiling. Then Shadow took his penis out and picked Cream up. Oh god, how much longer? Oh my god, there's so much more to this.
Let me charge up for a super ejaculation.
Shadow laid Cream down on the ground and then took his penis with him, which was already huge and shaking with sex energy, and found Cream's piggy bank, which was full of coins and dollars and things to save up for money, so she could buy what she wanted when she had enough inside of it. Shadow took it and, using his muscular penis, smashed a hole right through the piggy bank, so now it was sitting on top of his penis like a hat. Shadow's penis looked like it belonged at a fashion show. Huh? What are you doing? Said Cream, who was so confused, but sounded so happy. Oh my god. That from doing sex, that she was still smiling and laughing. Shadow lifted her head up so she could see her big heavy piggy bank on his penis, but not way because his penis was so strong. Oh my god, there's so more.
I am doing this for good, Cream. Sorry.
Then Shadow swung his penis at her head on her side like a hammer and hit the piggy bank into her head and knocked her unconscious. Cream was now on the floor, not responding to life, and Shadow took the piggy bank off his penis. Oh god. Oh no. No. I hope you don't mind. Like that's a little too far. I can't read that. I'm sorry. Like Shadow really did just, try to do that to Cream while she was asleep. So we're not doing it. Not today.
Okay, now it is time for what I really came for,
said Shadow out loud. Shadow did not even bother putting his penis back where he found it, but instead went to work looking for the Ultra Chaos Emerald. He looked through all her things and even behind pictures and posters. Cream had a lot of posters on her walls of things teenage women liked, such as the famous boy band One Sonic Direction, and famous television shows like Gossip Sonic and Pretty Little Sonic and iSonic. And famous books like Sonic Twilight and 50 Shades of Sonic. Shadow looked through all these things, and even in her lip gloss and purse full of teen girl blood diapers. This man doesn't know what a pad is. But he knows enough about them to call them girl blood diapers. And could not find it. Then he got to her jewelry cabinet and opened it, and there he saw the big ring with the big jewel that Cream was wearing at Sonic's funeral. And it was actually the Ultra Chaos Emerald.
Yes, I found it. How did this get here?
Shouted Shadow, picking up the ring and taking the Ultra Chaos Emerald out of the ring and into his hand. Then when Shadow was standing there with Cream unconscious on the floor and filled with nudity, and his fat penis hanging down from his body like a dog going down the stairs, and a big shiny crystal in his hand, Tails flew into the window and thusly the room. Tails hardly even looked at the situation and said, "It is okay. I know exactly what is going on." Here we go, guys. Chapter 24. Tails' song. Contains a song that's worse than all the sex scenes combined. Oh boy. Are you guys ready for this? Are you ready for the song? Unfortunately, we have to get through all this crap before we get to the song, so I'm just going to read through this as quick as I could. Tails was sitting in the back of the car where Amy was sitting in the front seat where you do not drive it, and Sonic's mom was sitting in the front seat on the left where you do drive it. The car was an SUV. They were all dressed in nice clothes because they were driving back to Sonic's house from Sonic's funeral. Tails looked like a secret agent because he was wearing a suit, but he must have been the saddest secret agent ever. "I am so sad," said Amy in a crying way, sounding like the complete collection of teen idiot quotes because she did not have teeth. She was only talking now that there were most people not in the car. "I know you are, and so am I. Tails, are you sad?" said Sonic's mom to Tails. "Yes, I am sad," said Tails to Sonic's mom, in an answer to her question. "It is really difficult and sad when someone dies, especially now that it is Sonic," said Sonic's mom, not crying but sounding really sad. She cried a lot at the funeral, but now she was being more emotional and not making a big scene like a hot dog man selling hot dogs at a baseball game. "I know, it's like, I just, said Amy, trying not to cry about how Sonic is dead and she is sad. "I just want everything to go away." Amy started to cry again because she is just so emotionally weak, like a goddamn child. How much more is this? Oh my god. I understand that you are sad, Amy, but I have to tell you two something. Please do not kill yourselves, okay? Said Sonic's mom in a very sad and meaning it way. Being a teen is the hardest thing in the world. doubt. It is harder than being in a war or in jail. What the fuck? I know it, but do not kill yourself because it will get cooler when you are done being a teen. Tails looked down at the ground of the car and did not know what to say, but he said, okay. He said it in a sad and quiet way. What was real was that Tails really did not want to kill himself now that Sonic was dead. What was the point of living if you're not going to do it with your best friend, Sonic? Then they got to Sonic's house and they were inside, and just after they took off their fancy clothes, then Rouge and Espio came over with Knuckles and Knuckles Jr., who were there. Rouge looked very burlesque in her tiny baby dress with her unlimited boobs nearly jumping out of her clothing, and Espio looked like a professional movie star on the red carpet because he was wearing a suit. Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. looked like shrunken presidents because they were also wearing suits. Hello, they all said togetherly. Wow, hi, said Tails to them. We have to go talk to Sonic's mom to try and cheer her up and be nice, said Rouge and Espio, and they gave Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. to Tails, who took them into a different room. I am so sad about Sonic, said Knuckles Jr. This is all really the worst thing that could have happened. Yes, this is the saddest, said Knuckles.
Sonic did not...
Sorry.
Yeah, this is the saddest,
said Knuckles.
Sonic did not deserve to die.
They were all agreeing so much about it. After a while of not talking, Knuckles said, Hey Tails, the end of school is tomorrow, and I have my last ending test that decides if I move on to the next grade, or if I lose and have to go back to start of high school. Tails looked at Knuckles in a deep way and said, Wow, that is a lot of pressure. What do you have to do? Tails was trying to be nice and helping to Knuckles because he was a baby now, but most of the time when people complained about school to Tails, Tails just thought, not saying, Are you the king or queen of idiots? Because Tails was the smartest and school was all just so easy to him, even the hardest classes that they made for geniuses. Whew, I'm sorry, I'm like Sonic speed reading this now. What I have to do is write a news story about an event happening around town. It has to be real, said Knuckles. Knuckles looked like a worrying boy and made a sound that showed he is worried. Knuckles was a baby. There's everything that I can lose to this, he said in a way. I will look for a story for you to do your news story on, and hopefully you will pass on and not have to go all the way back to the beginning of high school, costing you thousands of dollars in lost fees, said Tails to Knuckles seriously. Then Tails asked to both of them, Hey, can you please give me all of your baby teeth? What? Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. took out their baby teeth and gave them to Tails. Using his technology and tools and good old-fashioned elbow lubricant, Tails glued all the teeth together to make enough teeth for one normal person mouth, and he went downstairs. Here, Amy, this is for you, said Tails, looking at Amy, who looked like a total dumpster ever since Sonic punched out all of her teeth before he killed himself. You can use these teeth and they will feel just like you never lost your teeth. Amy grabbed them from out of Tails' hand and put them in her mouth, and they fit so perfectly like a Pop-Tart in most... like a Pop-Tart in most toasters. Wow, Tails, this feels great. How on earth did you manage to get teeth for me? Said Amy, now sounding like she was no longer a teen loser. Amy hugged Tails. No need to worry, you can just thank the modern efforts of science. Tails cheered and danced a little, and Amy thanked pharmaceutical companies, and then Tails went back over to where Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. were. I'm losing my fucking mind, I swear to God. Ugh. Then Tails went to Knuckles Jr., who was also there, and started to do a conversation with them. Hey, Knuckles Jr., how are you? Said Tails to Knuckles Jr. Good, said Knuckles Jr., but sad of Carouse. I did not see this coming at all. Knuckles Jr. hugged his legs to his body like an imaginary tree that could bring its roots up and use them as legs. What the fuck? Yeah, what is your deal? Are you really psychic because you're just a baby? Said Tails in a curious way. I find I seem to be able to see the future sometimes, but I cannot always control it. As you said, I'm just a baby. But when I get older, I can probably use my powers to win the lottery and become the CEO of Progressive Car Insurance. What? Oh. Knuckles Jr. was saying this to Tails. Okay, said Tails. Tails also thought inside his hugest brain now that he did not want to kill himself anymore. He was still sad, but talking to babies made him realize there is a lot more to come in life and good things, and if Sonic is dead, it is not the end of the world, but only the end of Sonic, which is sad. Tails went downstairs into Sonic's garage by himself and found Sonic's electrical guitar and had it. Sonic used to play songs on this, said Tails to the ears of the world, thinking about when Sonic played cool rock and roll songs. Tails put the guitar onto his body and held it and thought for a minute and then began playing a song. He played a sad song that was not mad or happy sounding, but it was not a slow song. It was a medium song that did not go too fast, so you would dance, or too slow, so you would fall too asleep. Ugh. Then Tails closed his eyes and just knew the words that he wanted to sing as he felt them, and he sang them out loud while playing this song that he just made up, and the words to the song he just made up went... Yep. We got this. Let me just balance it on my... Get a good balance. Sec. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Being a teen is so hard. You have to learn how to drive a car. And if you hit anything, it is you to jail they will bring. You also have to go to school. It's definitely not for fools. And everything is even harder because my best friend died. Oh wow, my best friend died. I just want to hide. Oh, high school drama is so hard to be a part of. And that's all I wrote. I didn't do the rest of the song. It was just that part, those first opening lyrics. But I will say the rest of the lyrics because they are just as stupid. Ready? Here we go. It has crazy things like friendship and love. It is the worst. It makes me want to burst. You have to get a date or everyone will laugh, and in a lake they will push you off a raft. Girls wear makeup and guys get tattoos, and there are so many possible drugs to do. There are also bullies around and sports with balls that are round. And everything is even harder because my best friend died. Oh wow, my best friend died. I just want to hide. High school drama is so crazy to be a part of. It has crazy things like friendship and love. It is the worst. It makes me want to burst. I'm doing a middle finger at God, but God is not real and the but God is not real and the world is odd. I am crying so much that my tears could make a cave where you cannot be scared, you just must be brave. I am tired of teens going on diets and being mad and starting riots, and everything is even harder because my best friend died. Oh wow, my best friend died. I just want to hide. High school drama is so hard to be a part of. It has crazy things like friendship and love. It is the worst. It makes me want to burst. Oh wow, my best friend died. I just want to hide. High school drama is so hard to be a part of. It has crazy things like friendship and love. It is the worst. It makes me want to burst. There. Hope y'all are happy. That was the last part I sang. Tails' singing sounded like a beautiful butterfly telling his life story to a little boy who fell asleep on a bench in the park without losing his money. What? Without losing his money to a common thief. I swear to God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Tails finished singing his song, and he saw all the tears that were now at the bottom of his feet on the ground in a pool so big that he could invite a cruise ship to do its first cruise in the pool. But then all of a sudden, Tails turned and saw Knuckles Jr. at the door to the garage. That was really sad to hear, said Knuckles Jr., but it is a healthy way to get rid of your emotions instead of killing yourself. Then Knuckles Jr. walked toward into the room and tripped in a way that the door behind him closed and was now locked, and they were in the room, so they were locked in there. Oops, said Knuckles Jr. like an idiot's baby. Oh no, screamed Tails out loud. If only we had a lockpick, said Knuckles Jr. then. Then, all of a sudden, everything came to Tails and realized what just happened over the past events. That is it. That is it. Using this information and my big intelligence, I know what is happening, shouted Tails. Tails got so excited that he spun his flying tail so hard that he went right through the locked door, so it was open now, and went out of Sonic's house and went directly to Cream's house without even celebrating at an ice cream place first. Whew. Okay. Oh no. Final chapter, chapter 25, Summer. Finally, fully imported. Also contains a sex scene you wish was... I can't actually say that because I might actually get the stream like insta-deleted, so no. So the feds will arrest you and take you away from it. God, I wish. I fucking wish. And this is an extra long chapter too. Fuck my life. Oh my fucking God, it's an extra long chapter. Oh. I need water. I'll be back. Ugh. Okay. Okay. Oh boy. Now I am here in Cream's room, and here you are, Shadow, said Tails to Shadow, who were both standing there. Do not be alarmed. What? I do not know what to say, said Shadow to Tails with a big worried face, like a coconut with whose 3 holes like a bowling ball. No, it is okay. You're doing exactly what I knew you'd be doing, and I understand why, said Tails in a cool and not angry way to Shadow, responding. You are here to get what Cream has, and that is the last Ultra Chaos Emerald, which is what is in your hand. Tails, being smart, was right. Shadow was holding the last Ultra Chaos Emerald, and it was in Cream's room in a ring. Oh, shouted Shadow. Usually I'm the one with the big brain behind doing a crime, but please explain to me how you know all this. Well, said Tails loudly like a rock star, it all started when Amy and Rouge got locked away in the Detetnian zone. Tails then sat on the windowsill and explained the whole thing. That was how Amy's bracelet ended up in Cream's vagina, and why Cream has the last Ultra Chaos Emerald, and why Sonic did not come back to life when Shadow tried to use them. Amy and Rouge were in Detetnian, and Cream wanted to help them before they could turn into starving women whose reproduction systems died because they did not have enough nutrition to create a child ever again. So Cream decided to be a good friend, like I always have been to Sonic, and she went and broke into your, Shadow's, room to steal a lockpick. She knew you would have a lockpick because you were always saying about how you do crimes in the city's environs. So Cream went and broke into your room and stole a lockpick, but when she was there, she also saw the Ultra Chaos Emeralds and took the white one because it looked like riches. Wow, she is a stealing bitch, screamed Shadow to Tails' listening body. What is wrong with this succubus? Shadow stomped his feet and bothered to put his penis back now that it was small from listening to Tails talk and not have pretend crime rescue sex with Cream. Just wait and listen, fag nips, said Tails to Shadow. I don't even care anymore. Still a little mad at Shadow for being the asshole at Sonic's funeral, but mostly forgiving him now for doing this. Then what happened was Cream, as a Halls monitor, was able to go into the detention room because she had the power as an inside agent. She had put the lockpick way up her vagina as a hiding spot because who was going to look there even if a burglar comes to take her carried goods? She went over to Amy in a sneaking way and moving her mouth without saying the words by not making sound but still making it look like she was talking and not saying them in her head either because I don't fucking care because she was still doing it with her mouth so you could see, told Amy to reach up into her vagina. I'm not saying that. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that. I'm so fucking exhausted. I'm not saying that. Cream's vagina was so blah 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 at the time because she was not in love, so when Amy stuck her hand up into Cream's vagina, her bracelet got stuck there and stayed there because she could not even get the lockpick away anyway because Cream's vagina was basically like a pencil case full of peanut butter. It was too hard and small to get it up, but it was good at holding things like Spider-Man. What? So Amy's bracelet was in there, and Cream had to leave before she became the biggest suspect ever, and Amy did not notice her bracelet was gone because she was so hungry and eating soda, and she put on a new one when she got home anyway because she did not notice. And when Sonic died, Cream was wearing the last Ultra Chaos Emerald, so it did not work because the jewels have to be touching for a man to get off a wish. Wow, it makes so much sense, and it is so obvious, said Shadow to Tails with a big eye face. I can't believe I did not think of that first. Maybe I am so dark that it is hard to see sometimes. Ha ha. Shadow laughed, and black birds flew above outside, like planes running up high with invisible legs. Yeah, but now we have to use them. We have to bring Sonic back to life. Tails screamed at Shadow. No, I do not have roommates because I hate living with people. But first we should get Amy because she is Sonic's girlfriend and she should be there if we're going to bring him back from hell, shouted Shadow in an idea way. Tails and Shadow held hands and ran out the window, and then Tails flew them with his flying tails to Sonic's house where everyone was. Tails and Shadow got there and slammed the door open like a football team, making a slammer's noise. Then they went and found Sonic's mom, who said Amy was in the other room, and Tails and Shadow went to the other room and opened that door too. Amy was inside the room, watching Rouge refill Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. using her whopping boobs. Rouge was wearing an itty-bitty tiny baby bra that was so small like she got it from Gymboree, and her boobs were so big, like a couple of planets that were pretty much breaking the bra parts because they were so big. It is a rumor about the town that you can see Rouge's boobs from space. Rouge, your boobies are out again. What are you doing? Said Tails to Rouge, and then Rouge and Amy looked at him. Tails, I am feeding Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. from my boobs. It is natural and healthy to do this, said Rouge. True. Rouge's boobs were so big that it was like Tails and Shadow could not fit in the room with her. They were all watching the video of Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. the baby kissing that Sonic had made of them to inspire. No. And I'm watching so I know how to do it one day, said Amy, who still looked a little sad because Sonic died, but smiling. Cool, said Tails. Can I try? Tails and Shadow went over to Rouge's boobs, but by the time they got there, this happened. Oh no, they are empty. Sorry, said Rouge to Tails and Shadow. It is supposed to be for babies most of the time anyway, or if you are in love. Aw, man, yelled Shadow to the clouds. Next time, said Tails, winking at Rouge and her illegally sized boobs. Anyway, we are going to go bring Sonic back to life. Come on. What? No, not again, you beguilers. Amy screamed that almost punched one of them in the face for doing another disrespect to Sonic's dead version. Listen, woman of the night, said Shadow in a disrespecting way. We are for real this time. Something was messed up and it was all Cream's fault, or maybe even yours if you go back far enough in the way pretending everything happened in the world. Let's go. I don't know, said Rouge. You were a idiot ass last time at the funerella. No, listen to them, said Knuckles Jr. to Rouge, who was cool, not a nerd. Go. God, that baby is a genius, said Shadow, knowing that he was right and that they should go with them. Tails was the smartest. Okay, said Amy, and they all put their things into bags and left. Knuckles, who was now a baby, made sure to put his camera with him close. Then they told everyone in the house who was there from the funeral, which was all the important people that you know, and they ran faster than a boulder to Sonic High School, where Sonic's funeral was, and where he was put in the ground now, but covered up. Not covered up because they did not get to start, because the funeral was only a few hours ago, and they did not have to do it right away because it was the safest neighborhood, not like the city, where Sonic's body would get stolen. Stolen and sold for drugs and motorcycles. Oh. Everyone ran just so fast to the funeral spot at the high school. When they got there, there was Sonic's coffin in the hole. Here we are at the funeral spot now, said Tails to everyone, of course. We gotta get it out. But how? Screamed Amy, and started to cry like a girl tea kettle. God damn it, Amy, said Tails in a mad serious voice. Stop acting like a children. Tails thought Amy was being the Kraken of drama just because Sonic was dead. What we need to do is figure out, using our brains, how to get Sonic out of this hole. Tails rubbed his chin with his smart hands and tried to get his genius brain running like the engine of 10 red cars. Excuse me, let me get through... What the fuck? Hold on. Excuse me, let me get through, please, said a big, retarded voice from the back of the group of people standing around Sonic's hole. Oh, the lunch lady, shouted Tails in a happy way. Hello, children, said the lunch lady, who was also at Sonic's funeral and Sonic's house after the funeral. The lunch lady was very big and tall and went in Sonic's hole and tossed the coffin right out on the ground next to it. There you go, said the lunch lady with a face full of smiles. She was deaf too. Cool, said Tails. Thanks. Shadow, where are you? Shadow came in from the backer area where it was dark, under a tree because Shadow was the darkest person everyone knew. Here I am, Tails, and here are my jewels, said Shadow as he grabbed his sack. Ready? Here goes nothing, yelled Tails like a gay little boy. Don't you just hate when people say that? Shadow grabbed his jewels and made sure all 7 of them were there, and they were there. He was so nervous because it did not work. They would surely be put under citizen's arrest for being a public ass. If he did not do this right, he would die. If he did not do this right, he would die. And Tails would too, because he was doing it with him and they would throw rocks at him. Using these Ultra Chaos Emeralds, said Shadow, I wish up out the gods to grant my wish so you can bring Sonic back up to normal, healthy life here. The bag glowed a whole lot and made out to the gods to grant my wish that you can bring back Sonic back to... Oh, I just read the same line. And made screamy noises, and a big stick of light came down from the sky and hit the bag, and all the Ultra Chaos Emeralds started to go crazy. They were making sounds like frogs and trains and horses and hitting into each other and shooting out lights and being basically the circus. Oh my god. Shadow and Tails were squinty with their eyes like the Chinese doctor who touched Sonic's balls. I'm actually, this is getting really hard right now. It's such a kick, it's just a kick in the teeth that the final chapter also happens to be the longest. Wow, screamed Amy. Oh my god, screamed Rouge. Cool, screamed Espio. What? Screamed Knuckles. A miracle, screamed Knuckles Jr. Just then, Cream got there from being unconscious at her house and screamed, No way! Whoa! Screamed Silver. Whoa, wow, very impressive, said Sonic's really Chinese doctor in a less loud way, and the lunch lady said something too, and so did Sonic's mom and Mrs. Lesson. Then everything in the world just became super bright, and nobody could see a thing for a moment, and they could not hear, they noticed either, because there was a ringing sound in their ears. It was so crazy, like being inside a marshmallow filled with ringing sounds. Ugh. Then everyone looked and peeked out around their hands where they're looking, and all the Ultra Chaos Emeralds were gone, and Sonic's coffin was open, and look, there was Sonic! Sonic was standing on the coffin where he was, inside, and he was on top of it, smiling, and not black anymore, but regular old blue Sonic. Yes, it really happened! Hey guys, what did I miss? Shouted Sonic in his regular old cool way. Sonic! Screamed everyone at the same time because they were all there and heard and saw him together. It's just natural. They all ran at him and he went down from the coffin and everyone was hugging and it was so beautiful to see. I heard Eggman was laughing at my funeral. What an ass, said Sonic, and laughed because he was the most living person ever now. Wow, Sonic, you are alive, said Tails to Sonic. You bet, said Sonic and high-fived him, which is already after they hugged because they are best friends, but Sonic hugged everyone else too. Wow, Sonic, you really are the fastest, said Knuckles Jr. You came back to life in 2 days. You beat the world record for fastest coming back to life because it took Jesus 3 days. Knuckles Jr. was right. Sonic was the fastest, and it is now proved completely. Sonic, I miss you. I forgive you, shouted Amy, crying and happy. Amy cried so much she was such a loser about emotions. Amy, I was thinking a lot about you. Amy, I was thinking a lot about you when I was dead. Said Sonic, before typical gay girl Amy cut him off in a rude way. It doesn't matter, Sonic. I want to become true boyfriend and girlfriend with you now, screamed Amy, and did holding on Sonic's hands. Sonic looked surprised. Now? Right now? Said Sonic with a question voice. Yeah, right now, yelled Amy. Let them watch. This is true love. Then Amy leapt out of her clothing except her underwears like a horse jumping out of a plane and landed in front of Sonic's body ready for his grand genitals, and Sonic already had all his clothes off by the time he started to jump because she started jumping because he's the fastest. Yeah, sex, shouted Sonic, and he finally revealed his penis. His penis. His penis instantly grew to dangerous levels. He swinged it around and everyone had to duck or jump over it. Sonic's penis was just the biggest penis everyone ever saw. It was like he had the World Trade Center sitting on his balls. His balls were super big too, like beanbag chairs full of olives. Yes, my measurements were correct, said Sonic's extra Chinese doctor. His penis and balls are definitely the biggest available. Amy was so filled with sex and arousing that her boobs were rock hard. She opened up her legs. She was still wearing a panty, but her vagina was really hard too, like a trapdoor to the love basement. Sonic did not care, and he shot his incredible penis into her vagina through her girl clothing, and she felt his love immediately. His penis was ice cold. What? And it was so big that it made up her body and into her mouth. It made up her body and into her mouth, and she could taste it, and it tasted like money and ice cream. I love you, screamed Sonic, ramming his penis in and out of her body like a drain cleaner. I love you too, screamed Amy, trying to make words while Sonic's penis rearranged her internal organs. Sonic took his penis out and beat her boobies back and forth with it, and she loved it. Sonic's pensy was so strong that it made her roll back and forth, and by now she was so in love that her vagina was shooting whipped cream. Wait for me, shouted Sonic, laughing like a millionaire. Sonic did legendary sex moves to Amy, like picking her up with his penis and doing tricks and brushing her teeth with his penis and letting and letting her walk on it like a tightrope walker, but with his penis. He even put Amy and him into his coffin, and he wiggled his penis back and forth in her vagina in the coffin. Oh my god. Like a beef slinky. Sonic's penis was so big and long, so big and long and wide that you could fit families inside of it. If you think you have seen a bigger penis, you have not, because because Sonic was in love now. Amy's vagina was breathing hard and reaching out for Sonic's penis, and soon he put it back into her vagina and decided to do a final systems check before taking it into semen sphere. Sonic grabbed his balls and held them back against his body and ran into Amy with his penis. Oh my god. Okay. Espius immediately flooded her vagina with his fresh and creamy s'mores. He shot so much semen into Amy that it was coming out her ears. Eventually, he took his penis out and shot more out, but like bullets. He even shot one into the sky, and that night, someone noticed Venus was about 10 feet to the right of where it should have been. That is because Sonic's semen bullet hit it. Sonic, screamed Amy, marry me. Amy kneeled over the ground, holding a big ring like the one she wore, and held it in front of her face. Sonic looked at it, smiled, and showed his show-stopping penis right through the ring and into her mouth. And she yelled at a passionate sound and Sonic said, I will marry you. Amy drank all the semen she could and grew an inch in height from it. Then Amy took out the real ring she had, and he and Sonic and Amy put them on so they could get married. You just had sex, screamed Tails. You just became true boyfriend and girlfriend. Congratulations, Sonic and Amy. Wow, said Espio. I thought I was a sex professional. I am seeing true love, shouted Rouge. Everyone laughed and cheered as Sonic and Amy finished doing sex and kissed each other's penises and vaginas and balls one more time for good luck. Then they put on their clothes on that Silver folded and put in piles for them because he was just a really good, nice guy. Hey, shouted Knuckles. Thanks, I got my story now. Sonic waved a bunch of pictures of Amy and Sonic and having sex in the high school garden area and the article he just wrote attached to it. Cool, I am happy I did help you, said Sonic, winking, still feeling like Super Sex Sonic. Yes, that is wonderful, said a big voice behind them in an important way. Hello, I am the principal of the high school. Wow, the president? Shouted Sonic. Seeing the principal was like seeing a celebrity because he only came out one day every year. Yes, Sonic, you are the best, said the principal. He is, said Amy to the principal. We just had sex right here, and he is my true boyfriend now. The principal laughed and smiled. How much longer do we... We're almost done. We're almost done, guys. Holy fuck, we're almost done. Wait just a minute, yelled Sonic to the principal. I may be the best at some things, but everyone here is the best at some things. Amy is the best at being nice and having emotions. Tails is the best at being smart and flying. Shadow is the best at doing crimes and driving and being dark but also being nice, so he is the best at being two things at the same time. Espio is the best at jumping and getting teenage women. Rouge is the best at seducing and being in love and a mom. Knuckles is the best at doing high school while still being a baby, and he was the best at fighting before becoming a baby. Knuckles Jr. is the best at being psychic and being cool while still being a baby. Cream is the best at being happy and being kind of smart. Silver is the best at acting and being nice and normal and cool. The Lunch Lady is the best at making people happy and being strong. Silver is the best at acting and being nice and normal and cool. The Lunch Lady is the best at making people being happy and strong. The Chinese doctor is the best at medical things and Asian abilities. No way. Sonic's mom is the best at cooking and cleaning. Miss Lesson is the best at teaching and being the nurse. Vector was the best at biting and making people mad, and Charmy was the best at dancing and singing, but now they are dead. I am the best at being fast, being moral, relieving others, and most other things. Yeah, said everyone else together to save time, patting each other's on the backs and laughing and smiling and cheering because they were all the best in some way. I guess that is true, said the principal. I really wanted to thank you, though, Sonic. You really have the best morals. Everyone needs to learn from you about what high school is really all about. It is not about drama and being mean and being crazy and being mad or sad or making other people mad and sad. High school is about falling in love and getting married and maybe having kids. doubt. Thank you, Sonic, for showing everyone this. Also, Knuckles, I'm very impressed with your story, even though you were just a baby and you passed this year of high school and do not have to go back to the start and pay thousands of dollars in fees and charges. Knuckles cheered and hurrayed like a baby, and the principal shook Sonic's hand and could not help but look at how big Sonic's penis was, even when it was not out. Hey, said Tails to Sonic and everyone, today was the last day of school. It is summer now. Yeah, cool, great, shouted everyone together at the same time. Good, said the principal to everyone, and then to Sonic. Oh, geez, hold on. Sorry. Now I can do what I want to do, and that is rename Sonic High School in your honor. The whole big group of everyone laughed and smiled and walked all the way toward the sun, ready to go have summer before they would have to return to the new Sonic High School. The end. Author's note. Wow. I am so sad, but kind of filled with relief that this is the end of Sonic High School. I got sad at the end, and I wanted to make sure it came out just right. I hope you all enjoyed this story as much as I did writing the story. If you have any ideas for another shorter fan fiction you want me to do, send me in a message, and maybe I can do it in the future. But I need to take a break for now. If you just want to talk, you can send me a message because it will send me an email that you sent me a message, so I'll always know where you are. Please tell all your friends about the story and spread it on the internet so everyone reads it and it becomes even more of a worldwide pheromone. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, guys, that was pretty rough. That was rough. That was hard. It's just so freaking typical that the last, 3 chapters or so also happen to be the longest and most annoying. I'm not even going to do a formal outro or anything. I just really want to, go to sleep. Because I've been sitting at this fucking computer for over 3 hours reading stuff that could get me arrested. So, with that, focus camera. With that, I will bid all of you good night, and I'll see you all next time.